Atlanta. I live on the west side
I
of Atlanta,
agree. I
and there are
agree.
people on the east side of Atlanta that I
I
might not
agree.
ever come across.
I
So
agree.
that's my point. Like, so how are you saying do it? Are you speaking like,
I
let me just
agree.
throw something out there, and maybe you'll agree with what I'm saying? Like, are you saying like if we do it politically, we should find the most politically
No,
astute
I agree. We should
individual?
define what community is, and I think Stu Pease would love to define that because he said that something about we need communities, so or like neighborhoods. So maybe Stu Pease could add a little bit of information on that.
Better,
Okay.
Snoopy's talking. Better if the white supremacists that you listen to did say something, you could regurgitate it verbatim. But when a black man says something, and a black man inside this room is talking to you, you dismiss everything that they're saying. Yet still, you've been spitting out, vomiting white talking point all day. You sound just like the dude who got shot. But if a black person says something in this room, you dismiss it. You don't remember it. But you can remember every white talking point. Everything I hear you saying, I'm listening to you carefully. But through next week, Monday, I want you to come on. Because I'm going to cuss you out. And I'm going to call you all kinds of names and I'm going to put a mirror up to you. Because you're one of the worst kind of black men.
You're not even
White ice is colder. White ice is colder. That's the kind of black man you are. But go ahead. Next week, Monday. I'm black first. But next week, Monday. Monday coming. 4 day time, I'm going to hold a mirror up to you. Because you are the greatest of the assholes that ever existed. You come in here, I espousing. I don't know what you look like. Anybody who hiding behind a picture, everybody know what I look like. I'm short, I'm fat, I'm old. I've lived a long life for everything that I've done. But you, I don't know what you is. I don't know what you is. And it's scaring me because you're not unique. If you were unique, it wouldn't bother me. But it's scaring me because there's a lot of you out there.
Unhinged.
You're
gonna go past it on a week, Stu Pease. Be careful. You're gonna go past it.
This moving conversation backwards.
Yeah. That's what scares me because you're not unique.
Yeah. Unhinged. You're unhinged. Relax, bro. What are you getting so excited about, bro? This is about information. You're scared. You're this. You're that. I don't even come on here, dude. Like, relax.
Well, I think the issue. Is that
again. If you were next to me, you wouldn't talk to me like that. I won't talk to you like that.
Okay, wait.
Let me move it.
You couldn't be next to me.
Just leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Can I try to move the conversation forward a little bit?
Like, yeah, come on, you guys.
Because like I said, it's all about understanding. So I want to understand exactly where you're coming from. Because like I said, I mean, I get where Snoopy's coming from. You know what I'm saying, with his feelings or whatnot. And I'm trying. I didn't want to come up here, even though I was listening. I didn't want to come up here and actually, you know what I'm saying, like go straight off of it. But I feel where Snoopy's coming from because like the stuff you were saying. It's kind of like, where in the hell did he hear that from? You know what I'm saying? Like, who taught you that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
So all black people don't.
I get all emotional and all crazy about it. Like, relax. Like,
I get it. I mean, that's what I'm
saying. Right now, you're in a little fishbowl, and you're not used to different opinions. I totally understand that.
No, I'm used to all kinds of opinions. I'm just trying to figure out what yours has to do with black people and the progression of black people. So if you can and that's why I'm asking you
trying to derail the conversation to something else. You're weak at debating. You're trying to derail the conversation to something.
I'm not debating.
We were talking about meritocracy and how meritocracy works in the community. Remember that?
That's all I was talking about. That's all you're talking about.
Personally, what I offer to the black community, I raise my children, man. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know who the fuck I am.
Okay, calm down, bro. Calm down.
I didn't talk about you personally.
I'm not talking about you personally, bro.
You stay on topic. I'm trying to help you.
Brother, you're trying to crash out right now.
No, you're trying to make me look like some villain here. Like we were talking about meritocracy and how it helps the community. Why don't you focus, man?
Okay, okay, all right. Well, you got that out your system. Now, let's go back to the conversation. Okay, so we're talking about meritocracy and DEI and all that type of stuff. And you was telling me about how other people, other communities do it and make it work for their community. So I've
Yeah,
been
baby.
asking you to break it down for me. Are you listening to me right now?
I'm
Because
actually
I'm
going to listen
asking
for
you
the
in
next
order to
for the
get.
next couple of hours. I'm going to actually start listening like the way I usually do. I hope you don't mind.
Okay, no problem. Whatever floats your boat, bro. But I'm trying not to get personal with you. I'm trying to keep it to what you're talking about, and you seem to
You
want
can't
to be
get personal
personal.
with me. You don't know me. How the hell
Right.
gonna
So
get
I'm trying
whatever
to
you
ask
say
you
about my
about the
mom,
information.
about
So I'm
me,
trying to
about
ask
my
you. I'm not
it don't
talking
matter
about
because
you
you
first.
don't know me. You're
Got you.
weird.
Got you. So calm down.
Whatever you
I
freaking
got
say
you.
is
I
Order,
got
man.
you.
Yo,
So
Order,
yo,
calm
order,
yo,
down.
yo. What we
is
moving?
order,
wild.
order,
Is
order.
wild. You're in a fishbowl.
Yo,
You think that things that you say over the internet affect people? It really
Yeah,
don't.
super emotional
It
right
really
now.
don't. You need to like
I'm trying to
chill,
talk
bro,
to you, bro,
and get
and you
back to
being
the
hey,
real
hey,
topic.
emotional for
let's
no
get
reason.
back to the topic,
Order,
bro. Like I don't know
order.
what the topic is, but this ain't
Right.
conducive to nothing,
I
man.
just
Let's just
explained. I
get
just
back
broke
to it,
down
bro.
what the whole topic was. I just broke it down. Like I just talked about the DEI and everything that meritocracy. I'm trying to figure out how that works in his eyes, and he's having an issue explaining it, so he's getting upset with me, and I don't understand that because I'm being very patient with you. I haven't called you out your name. I haven't done anything disrespectful to you, bro.
You
I'm
can
just
you
saying
ask
what
him a
happened
direct
to
can
you.
you ask him a You direct called question him again weird. so we
I didn't call
Like
him
you
anything.
don't need to do the ad hominems. Just because a person
I
has a
didn't call
different
him
opinion,
anything.
we didn't have people pull ageism saying that because he's not over 30 years old, he can't talk on certain issues. Now you
I didn't
saying
say
that
any of that. What are
man,
you
he sound
talking
like
about?
Charlie Kirk. You said that you was
I didn't
almost
say
about
that.
to agree with Stu Peas, and you came on here because
Right.
he was sounding all weird. Like we don't need to talk to each other like that. We all men.
Bruh, I'm giving you my opinion. Men give their opinion. I can do that. If I didn't call you out your name, then you being fucking sensitive. Like I
Like
can
I
come on here
said,
and I can get
if
all
we were
reckless and
face
I can
to
talk
face,
all
we would
wild
have
and all
more
that
decorum.
extra ass shit, but I'm not
I
doing it. I'm
said, do you
actually
got a
trying to have
question
a
for the man?
conversation.
Cause like y'all gonna end up going left, bro. Like
That's
you got a
the,
question for the
that's the
man?
fucking question. Y'all niggas keep bending the question. I'm trying to see what does meritocracy have to do with the progression of black people. It's that simple. The fuck are y'all talking about? Can anybody answer
You
that?
got an answer for him? Anybody? I just walked back in. I'm just trying to get it back in order. It sounds a little chaotic in here.
That's because niggas getting emotional instead of answering questions.
Well, man, it sound like
We
nobody got
talking
an
about
answer for you, but that don't
meritocracy,
mean
and then somebody
y'all
asks
ain't
you about
gotta
meritocracy.
yell back and forth though.
Niggas
You
don't
know.
want to say that. But I wasn't yelling. I was literally just talking to this brother. He started yelling and getting emotional. I'm just talking. Him and Stu Peas went back and forth. I tried to get in between that so we could go back to the conversation. But now it seemed like the conversation is really what's targeting this whole thing right now of this whole crash out. So I'm assuming that the question can't be answered, and it was just a whole bunch of gibberish coming out just for the sake of saying some shit. Because when I asked y'all about how this shit works, don't nobody got. Oh, I don't know shit. Other people did it. Well, how did they do it? So we can fucking incorporate this shit into the conversation. Crickets. Y'all gotta do better at this, man. Because this is bad. But y'all said that this was for black people to come on, or people in general to come on and have these conversations or whatnot. But as soon as you had a conversation, it seemed like if you ain't the head of the conversation, then niggas get upset and mad and want stuff and fight and shit. What we doing?
See that? See that? My apologies to cut your conversation. My apologies. My
Bro.
sincerest apologies. But when people or everybody here at one time or the other in this room, let me see, the most people here I have seen what they look like. The ones that I don't see what they look like has never been just using white supremacist talking point verbatim. They have never been doing that. If you're using white supremacist talking point and you show yourself, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're in the background and you're coming directly from the Hodges twins or the police officer or the dude who died, and everything you're talking about is exactly what they are saying, right? The anti-Muslim in England, because England got this Muslim prime minister now, or no, London got this Muslim mayor. So all of a sudden now, oh, the Muslims are taking over London. The Muslims are taking over England. We can't afford that to happen. It's because they have their version of DEI. Once you start listening to people and you realize what they're talking, they're espousing the same talking points, but they're doing it behind an avatar. The same hate speech, but it don't disguise. We're not calling anybody niggers anymore and all different kind of names. But we're using other words, right? Because DEI now became a racial terminology, meaning unqualified black people. Nobody can disagree with that. That's what it was being used for. Oh, DEI higher. And we all know that all it did was open a door, and we did not benefit the most from it. But we did benefit. And then when people start talking about meritocracy, where in America? We don't own the businesses. One or two of us fight and reach the top, yes. But any black person will tell you that other people were there with them that were black at the lower level. And they were passed over. Because you're going to be the token Will Smith, right? We can name the black actors. First you had Eddie Murphy. No, before Eddie Murphy, you had the comedian Richard Pryor. And he was a big movie star. He and Eddie Murphy could be two big movie stars, but no. When Eddie Murphy rise to the top, Richard Pryor had to go down. Then after after Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, or whoever it was, Cat Williams. We never have 2 or 3 or 4 in prominent position, yet still we are more talented than them. But if you listen to meritocracy, the white comedians or the white actors or the white actresses are better. That's why we have so many of them being called movie star. They use movie stars when referring to white actors and actresses, and movie star when referring to black people. But we live in a meritocracy, or we want a meritocracy. When you watch Big Bang Theory and you really watch that show and you look at it and you say, how is it that this show started out where all of these actors play characters that weren't shit? Penny worked at the Cheesecake Factory. The other girl worked at the Cheesecake Factory. And by the end of the series, she was some big biochemist. One person win Nobel Prize. They all had big jobs. All the white people in that show had big jobs. But the Indian wasn't shit. The Indian in that show wasn't shit. The Indian dude who was in better position than all of them. His father was a millionaire. He lived better than all of them. But by the end of the series, he's the no-shit character. Right? The girl who married to the Jewish guy, she used to date a basketball player, Rick Fox, in the show. Because I started watching the show before I started complaining and said, this is bullshit. How a girl moved from Rick Fox, 6'5", good-looking guy, to that little Jewish guy that looked like a geek? That's not realistic. But what they promote all the way is that white people will always touch the stars. While black people, if you watch Girlfriends, the show with Queen Latifah, why her magazine never become #1 in the country?
Living single.
It's what they promote. It's what they promote. But when you use these talking points and talking about, oh, if black people work hard enough, all of us would be, no. And the black people who you see, that you can see now, they work their ass off. They work their ass off. The scientist guy, Tyson, whatever his name is, he's not the only black scientist. But he has to show that he has an intelligence level, that he can understand so many different things to get notoriety. Neil deGrasse Tyson. But everybody's going to say, oh, meritocracy. If black people work hard and if we're educated. We did the school thing. Because we had more black people enroll into colleges than anybody else. We did it. Jack and Jill do it. We're doing it. We're doing it. But when you look at the cabinet, who qualified there? Is that why people pushing meritocracy? But when you look at Trump cabinet, anybody there deserve the position that they get? Based on the education? RFK. The minister, the Secretary of Defense. We can't go down the line. But you excusing, oh, black people should practice meritocracy when white people not practicing it? Listen, I'm the dude who go into the movie theater and open the back door for all of my friends and everybody that look like me. That is how I practice meritocracy. I'm going to open the back door for everybody. And if the dude who don't know to drive the truck, I'll teach him how to drive it in first gear until him learn to drive it in second gear, until him learn to do all of the gears then. Because we were always disadvantaged. And you're coming here talking about meritocracy. White people say this, white people say that. Oh God, Jesus Father. Monday, I do a cuss out.
Now those are great points, Stoopies.
No, you think about it. Do white people practice meritocracy? Do white people practice meritocracy?
No, because then you wouldn't have a phrase that ain't about what you know, it's who you know.
Right. So we're at a disadvantage already. All of a sudden, oh, get yourself educated. Go and get educated and come back. When you ask some white people what their degree was in, some white professional in certain areas, when you go to the hospital, and you see the nurse that's in charge of the nursing for her area, the black nurse have a PhD in nursing and nursing administration. And our boss, guess what our boss have? A diploma in nursing. The white girl have a diploma in nursing. The black girl have PhD. Go to all of the nurses that you know. Ask them if Stupid's lying. What if the white boss is as qualified as they are? And I guarantee that 99% of them is going to say, hell no. But you come in here and talk about meritocracy. But that's why I say you need to live 20 more years. We have a professional in here, and I've listened to him spoken, and he has said how he got through the door. And then after he got through the door, how he has to justify why they chose him. So at the end of the day, they cannot say, oh, we made a mistake. Even when we get through the door, we have to work 3 times as hard to prove that we deserve the position. Ask any of your professional relatives if Stupid's lying. Ask them. As I said earlier, my uncle, by marriage, came to this country, and he was one of the first person working in Chase Bank who wasn't cleaning the floor. Everybody else black in there was a cleaner. And he was there for 10 years. And he did not get a promotion. And the dude who hired alongside him to do the same job he done got $10,000 a year more than him in 1977. Talk about meritocracy. Talk about that to somebody who don't have no life experience. You listen to them white people talk. And because I'm a Caribbean national, I don't know no history about America. My family has been coming here since the 70s, early 70s. I will understand that when they moved down to Florida here, all the Jamaicans who live in Fort Lauderdale and Lauderdale can tell you that when they come and they landed in the community and they bought these houses, by the next month, for sale signs were being put up left, right, and center. That all the white people moved out to the community That's why Jamaicans got the houses. They got the houses cheaper. Because the white people were so afraid to live with black people. Are you going to tell me about meritocracy? You live in America, you don't even know the history. That's why I don't like talking to anybody under 40. If you're under 40, you get to grow up and watch He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Transformers. So you think that the life is a fairy tale. Anybody born after 1985 I have a problem with. Especially if they don't read. They don't know the history of their own country. They don't understand it. That's why they get easily brainwashed. That's why they get easily brainwashed. And once you start expose them to certain things and they start reading, they realize that, oh, I didn't know shit. This is what they were experiencing. That is what was going on. But let me stop. Somebody else take over.
Well, I hate to say I agree with you, stupid again, but you know, I don't want nobody to rage on me right quick. But I do, but I agree with everything you just said, bro. Like for real. Even the over 40 thing, you know what I mean? Because I'm starting to notice that experience is taking the large key in this, the large play in this, you know what I mean? Like I can speak on meritocracy just on, you know, and some of the stuff that I done did or whatever. Like I was a chemical spray tech for 10 years. Had a guy come in 60, 65 years old, somewhere around a 52 old white guy come in. Don't know nothing about the job, say he been doing it 2 years and was depending on me in order to teach him how to do the job. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he got the same position as I do. So just on merit alone, you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't be in the same breath. And that's based on experience and expertise and know-how. But I understand how the game goes. That's how it usually goes, especially in the South. You know what I'm saying? Your cousin, they cousin or they brother or they uncle or they sister or whatever is gonna get hired on, whether they know the job or not. And then it's gonna be on that black, that Mexican, that whoever, in order to teach them how to do the job
See that?
and not
See
get
that?
paid
You
for
know, see that? Let me tell you something. See that? You know what meritocracy is at its core? It is to give black people excuse not to hire other black people. Because back in the day,
it. Yep.
what black people used to do is that I got into an institution or a job, and I would get other black people, although they're not as qualified as I am. And we, as a group of black people who are doing that job, will teach that new black person the job. But what they tell you that, oh, you must practice meritocracy. That means you must hire other black people who is less qualified. So therefore, if you can find a black person who is just as qualified as you or more qualified, you can give them the job. But the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. So it's to give black people excuse not to hire black people. Why did you hire that unqualified black people person? Don't worry about that. We'll teach him the job. You don't worry about
Right.
that.
Exactly.
You don't.
That's what I'm on. Because that's what I mean. And when we talk about what they practice, like I said, they don't practice meritocracy. They looking at it. They what do they say? What do they call it when LeBron got his son on? What's it called when people put their family members on? Nepotism. Nepotism. Yeah. That's what the word I was looking for. So we need to show more nepotism. They've been showing nepotism for a long time and it worked for them. So why are we so scared to show nepotism? Like you said. So what? That brother don't know how to do the job. Teach him. Bring him on.
We'll teach them.
Show him how
Bring
to
them
do
on
it.
and we'll teach him. But no, but then brainwash that fool to say, oh, no, he's not qualified enough. He's not the best. No, that's how we open doors for people. That's how black people have always opened doors for people. That once you get in, you, as long as the dude willing to learn, you talk to him, you know him good, you go to the boss and you hype him up. They say, yeah, man, him good, man, him good, him all right, man. Him go, all right, me responsible for him. And then you bring him in and you teach him, say, all right, do this, do that, start out at this, start out at that. Any problem you have, don't go to nobody else. Come to me, or Devon right there, so, or Samson right there. So them two man there, three are gonna look after you. Within 6 months, you think him out there 10 years. Because we'll bring him up. We'll bring him up. That's how we do it. That's how black people have always do it. Talking about, but, oh, he's not qualified. You take white people talking point and use it against the other black people. Well, we've never worked like that. We have never worked like that. Ask your friend.
They ain't
How
never
much
worked
Barber
like
and
that.
friend?
Shit. My bad, Stevie. I was just
No, go
agreeing
ahead.
with you, but they've never worked like that. Like I said, they've always used nepotism. You know what I mean?
Well,
They've never been the type of people to just say, "Oh, well, no, you got to wait until you get out of college." And no, bro, they get their kids their job before they even graduate. Like they know how to practice nepotism right. We the ones that send our kids off to go work for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We the ones who need to learn how to, like I said, keep things in house and learn how to, especially when it comes to the profit. Like, we need to learn how to keep them things in house and actually support each other and teach and push each other and actually have that drive to be the best. Like that's part of the problem that I see most times is that a lot of us don't have the drive to be the best. We just want to make a couple dollars. Nah, bro, you gotta actually want to be the top in order to achieve that shit. I'm back on mute.
No, look at something like barbering, the profession of barbering in our community. If Chef was an asshole, he would be the only barber in Baltimore. But ask Chef how many barber has he taught? How many person has he taught? When they come to him, they're green as hell. They can't even hold
done, bro? Are you done?
Yeah, who that?
Okay, thank God.
No,
Listen,
I'm not talking to you.
Done? Shit.
I'm not talking to you because I don't know what you look like.
Because that's what you're doing. They're coming out of your
mouth. I don't know
mouth.
what you look like. I don't know if you're black. I don't waste time talking.
What we doing?
Listen, man, meritocracy has not worked for the African American community, right? According to you, right? But we use it all the time. You got to reconcile that. Then, why is other communities using that meritocracy and it works for them, but it don't work for us? Why not? You got to answer that. You got to look in the mirror and answer those, real hard questions, because other communities are doing.
Let me answer it. Let me answer it.
Wait,
let me answer it.
No. I wasn't. Let me just add a little more, because you did a thing there. So, like, you got to explain that, okay? You got to explain why it worked for other communities, and it doesn't.
Can y'all hear him or no?
Nah, Yahweh got him.
Yeah,
Yahweh cut him out.
Yeah, Yahweh.
Okay.
So Yahweh got him.
Yo, and what I was gonna say, because he came back in talking like we wasn't just talking, like we just explained all of that. You wouldn't have a question if you were sitting back listening.
This is into the chat. This is live. Every now and then somebody in here go into the chat because they asking y'all questions. But this is we're live on Carnivorous right now.
I mean, how do you see the YouTube chat from here?
Huh? I just go on to YouTube.
How do you see it? Oh, okay, you gotta actually leave out.
Yeah, I'm in StreamYard. I can see it. Yeah, I'm in StreamYard. I can see it too. But just like put it on mute, and sometimes they asking y'all questions. Or shouts to you, see that.
For sure.
I've been gone for like an hour or two.
Yeah, you've been out for a while.
Yeah, I've been out for a while. I haven't been here in 2 hours, so the conversation changed.
No, it got a little crazy. I had to come back and they was into it. But
I wasn't here.
It jumped back on track. It sounded like it jumped back on track.
Just now.
No, the conversation was about meritocracy. if
Okay, what
meritocracy is
about
the
it?
best for these people. And
Is
I said,
meritocracy the best for us, you said?
yes, and my thing is that in the current American society, it doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work
Yeah,
for
but
us.
then Buddy
We have
came.
exceptions. We have exceptions, yes, but also holistically, it doesn't work for us. Right? In the
Can I
workplace,
figure out from Buddy? I want to know from him, like, how does he see meritocracy working for other people? Because he never explained any of that. I ain't hear not one thing, one example of meritocracy working for other people. Like, he just said that it's some communities and they have people in there and they put their people at the top
All right,
and
let me repeat
that's
it. Let me repeat
meritocracy.
it. Let me
So I
repeat it a
don't.
third time. Let me repeat it a third time, okay? Because you actually reacted to it when I answered it. Okay, I'll give you another example so I don't get other people excited. You know what I'm saying? The Jewish community, right? Don't they have a form of meritocracy where they, you know what I'm saying, right? That's one. The Islamic community,
How?
right?
How?
Yeah, you
How?
got to give the
How?
example,
Give
bro.
examples.
What?
Yeah, give examples. You just
Yeah,
saying
give
it
it,
is
give
not an
hey, give
example.
examples, but y'all gotta let them finish, and then y'all come in. So go ahead, give some examples when you talk about it, Tony. When you say
How they
Jews
get
have it,
together,
give an
like
example of
how
it.
they get together and decide who's going to come forward to represent them.
That's not
That
meritocracy.
okay? That's my
That's
definition
just
of
a
it.
vote, bro.
That's my
That's just a
Yeah,
vote.
definition of it.
meritocracy.
That's
Just so
my
we're
definition of
clear.
it. Maybe you
Yeah,
understood it
okay. So
wrong.
we're
Yeah,
using a
but
separate
wait.
definition.
But no. But let me no. Hang on. Before you
Okay.
continue, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you understood it wrong. Okay, that's
Okay.
what I meant. That's what I meant. I meant when a community, y'all all over the place. I'm talking about a community. Somebody said communities don't exist. I'd say, let me call somebody in that talked about communities. He
Uh-huh.
zipped out on me. So, but I'm saying a community just gets together and puts forward their best, and there'll be other people, but they put forward their best represents that community. That's what I'm saying.
Meritocracy. And I respect your point. What I'm
That's a
saying is,
meritocracy within a community. You know what I'm saying? Within a community.
I get it within the community, but we live in America, so the meritocracy that we exercise in our community, unfortunately for us, there are certain things that have to be in place for meritocracy to work.
And it won't really get far in our
Meritocracy,
communities.
meritocracy in and of itself, essentially just work hard. You know, that's to pick yourself up by just work. Put your head down and work no
Yeah,
matter what.
you'll rise based on your work,
Right,
your
but
merit.
the United States, even if we were to try to do it specifically in our own communities, we don't own the communities that we'd be trying to do this in. And then part two, meritocracy assumes an equal playing field. Now, we can have the idea that we could rise above our station, and I think we all should have the idea that we could rise above our station. That's part of meritocracy too. But the thing is, the it's like a sandwich. So, and I'm hungry. That's why I'm making a food analogy. Um, the meritocracy, meritocratic part of it is you got to assume one slice, the bread is the equal playing field, the middle is the social mobility, but then the top is the recognition. Now, you're not going to get the recognition. The excellence is not going to be rewarded regardless of your background. And then also, it's no equal playing field. So you're not,
Well,
meritocracy wouldn't fit us here in the
if
United
it's a
States.
community,
We have more of a nepotist type of system more than like people get casted in the fucking SP 500 company just for being that nigga's son or nephew or you know what I mean. It's not all just merit based.
but there's
That's what I
different
just
communities.
explained.
There's different communities at different levels. You know, and each community is going to pull up their best.
Or their favorite, not always have to be their best.
No, it can't be their favorite.
We see it all the time.
But
That's
we
what
already
nepotism
do,
is.
though. We already do. The best of our communities do the best of what they're capable of. The best doctors work in the best hospitals. The best of our community does the.
Yeah, but they're not.
I'm trying
I
to get
agree.
the practice of what you're talking about because you keep saying it like black people don't use the
Are
best
they
of
giving
our
back to the
capabilities.
community? Are these folks giving back to the
Yes, a
community?
lot of them are. A lot
So
of
what's
them
the
are, but
problem
what
then?
it would depend on. Listen, it
What's
would
the problem
depend on
then?
what you would classify. Listen, bro, it would depend on what you would classify as community. If you're just talking
Well,
about a certain neighborhood, or if you're just talking about a certain neighborhood, that's why I gave you examples of neighborhoods that don't exist anymore, that were full of black people that don't exist. So black people are scattered throughout all of these cities that we live in. So therefore, there is no singular way to point out a black community unless you just talking about black people in general going out doing the best they can with what they have to do it with. So we have that. That is not an issue. It's not. That's why I don't understand. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, what you're saying, because it don't add up to reality. You know what I'm saying? Like the best of black people do the best of what
It's
they
not
can,
happening.
and they
It's
also
not
help other
happening.
black
It's
people.
not.
So what are
We're,
we talking about?
okay, it's
Go
not.
ahead.
It's not systematic. You know what I mean? It's not systematic.
But that's what I'm saying. What Muslim, like even when you brought up the Muslim example, what Muslim is the speaker for all Muslims? Who
I
have
don't
they
want to
put
get
in
in.
that
I don't want
that
to get
that
in. I don't
category?
want to. You're not going to drag me into that. I can
Okay,
drag you
what about
into
white
that.
people? What
I'm not
about white
going to
people?
do
What
it.
white person is it for all white
You're
people?
going to what we are. You're doing it again. We're not talking about
and
religion right
the
now.
one person who runs any community, the Jewish community.
We're talking about something really simple. We're talking about a community coming together in a systematic way, pulling out their best to represent themselves wherever they go.
Re-
You can.
represent
That's
now,
called.
though,
That's
brother.
called appeal. That's called appeal to ridicule. When you laugh, appeal to ridicule because you can't answer that.
I'm not, brother. That's not me laughing. I'm still trying to figure out.
Somebody is whoever it is.
Don't worry,
Man,
Whoever it is.
I can
I
laugh at
got, I
that
got you,
too.
brother.
It's just what it
You know
is,
what
Yes,
I'm
bro.
saying? That's never going to happen. I know it's
yes,
funny.
brother. No. I just want you to give me some, like, I want you to show me so that way I have something that I can work off
So
of.
you
Show me the
what?
white
I just
people,
explained
the
to
right
you.
person. No, no,
Who?
no. But that's what I'm saying. I'm asking you for examples of the white person who is a speaker for all white people, or the Muslim
What?
who is a speaker for all
I don't know
Muslims.
what you're talking about now.
Brother, you said we was talking about meritocracy, and you
Yeah,
said that these other
the
communities
community.
have representatives for their entire community.
Then you
So I'm
said white.
asking you for an example
Then you said
of
white.
these.
Why did you do that?
I'm asking. Oh my God, bro, this is crazy, right? I'm asking you for an example of anybody, white, black, anybody, any other community that you're referring to. Give me an example of the person who is running those communities.
Oh, you want an individual?
That's
You
what
want
we're
an
talking about right
individual?
now.
That's what you're
Yes,
talking
give me an
about.
example.
That's what you want from me. I'm what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't know what you're saying, man, but I'm just gonna go back on mute and listen.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you're trying to trying to wrap me into something that you want. It's not about that. It's about basically communities producing the best out of I mean, what's wrong with that? You got messed up because you thought I was talking about it in the corporate world and the government world. It's got nothing to do with that.
I'm talking
And the
about
person and these
period,
people and these people
period,
that,
at all. Give
let
me
me finish.
examples.
Let me
Not just
finish.
saying shit.
People,
Give
let me
me
finish, bro.
examples.
I already gave you examples, man. This is crazy.
No, you haven't. You haven't given any. You just keep saying random stuff, randomly saying
why you raising
these
your
people,
voice?
this community, what
I can't
community,
hear
and
you
then
no
give
more
me
because you're raising your
name,
voice, dude. You're raising your
name
voice,
the
dude. Like you're like
community,
turning off right now. Because you're
name the
stop
community,
yelling.
and name the people that you're referring to.
I already did. I named two.
Okay, bro. You at this point you a waste of a conversation. Yeah, you have
Okay,
a good
good.
one, bro. There's no disrespect to you.
You can
You're
hit
a
the
waste
red
of my
button. You can
conversation.
hit the
If
red
you can't
button.
even
Hit that
explain
red
your own
button.
point, when you can't even explain your own
I already
point,
gave you
you're a
two
waste of a
communities
conversation.
that do it. You want individuals, and you want when were they doing it, and you want to go keep on going down. Like it's called a Martin Bailey. You move from one point to another. Cut it out. I already explained the community. Sorry, lost this one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Is anybody watching the game tonight?
Who playing tonight? Who winning in the fantasy football league so far? Who's in first place? I think Brass is in first place now. I think the fix is in.
Yeah, Brass is underhanded. Ain't no using backdoor trade and shit. For money.
Yeah, he played me this week. You about to take a slug.
It's way too early to tell. You don't really even you really almost don't even know whose team is good until like week 5 for real. Like you gotta let the ball roll and see who really getting touches. Let people establish their role on teams and shit like that.
I just being
Yeah, I know you just talking crap. No, this was a hell of a topic, yo. I wish we had kept it together a little bit longer. Because somewhere in there we got off the rails, but man, for a little while we was cooking. Like even with the people who we didn't agree with, we gave them space, let them say it, and we had some good like rebuttals back and forth. And it started getting crazy, but this was a hell of a fire conversation.
Yeah, but
it's a good topic. Yeah, it's a good topic for sure.
Yeah, it's a pull yourself by the bootstrap argument. And we know that don't work. That don't work. So all the white farmers
Look, it's two P's. Is it possible you can incorporate both? Why can't we do two things at the same time? Like, why can't we draw? Why is it that we have to operate on such a like that or that?
Please give me your email. I want to send you my picture, bro. I want to send you the way I look. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so important to you.
That don't even sound right.
Yeah,
moving right
You're
along.
the one that asked for it.
I'm gonna DM you my picture, yo. Get out of here.
You're the one that asked for it, though. Yo, this nigga asked for it, bro. He was like, "Let me see your picture."
It's a lot of pauses. That's a lot of pauses, yo.
That was extra crazy. That was a little extra crazy. But for real, Fatty. So I believe that to whatever extent you attempt to do both, you're gonna dilute the other because I feel like they kind of like in direct opposition with each other. So like meritocracy would prefer to keep things a lot closer to the way they are, without addressing those systemic issues, and still have the benefit of filtering out our best and putting them into their environments, right? What the opposite would be.
My bad. Go ahead.
I'm almost done. What the opposite would be growing our environment and allowing us to kind of dictate, hey, what do we do with our best? You get what I'm saying? Rather than literally pigeonholing our best into the best thing that they can do with that is go serve purposes that don't have nothing to do with us. You see what I'm saying? Like there's got to be that in there. So that's why I feel like you can't put the emphasis on both sides, right? And if you stay in the middle, you wind up doing nothing.
Well, I sent sources showing that that's why I just want you to read the sources I sent. I ain't just talking. That's what I'm saying. When we talk about shit like this, I wouldn't even speak on it if I didn't read it already and see how it's very effective. And it doesn't it addresses everything that you're speaking on. And they're saying that in the source I sent you, they talk about how like most people think that this meritocracy versus inclusions are like mutually exclusive, and it's not. And shit has been put into play already to show when you incorporate both and emphasize both. Because again, bro, in Black communities, these teachers, they have to promote excellence, bro, for all students. And if you're gonna sit up here and say, when you talk about quotas and money being allocated, a lot of these teachers, they just let students go by half the time. And a lot of standards are lowered because of that, which is detrimental. Like if we going to talk about both sides of it, we got to talk about both sides of it. So again, excellence in some form of fashion has to be incorporated, and promoting that in community, culture, people who are in high positions to make that change. Because if you just have the mentality on or having the mentality of not a victim mentality, because those things are rightful
things to talk about, like the systematic barriers and how really you start in a race, when the motherfucker already ran 3 laps already. And that's true indeed. But in order to try to alleviate the problem in some form of fashion, you got to incorporate both. Because if you lean in two way or the other, like these convos dealing with merit versus this, or it's so hot and cold, but we both listen to each other, whether perspective you got or not, and you can see that each side is giving truth. You know what I'm saying? And the brother Tony,
I'm gonna check it out. I'm good. I thought you was done.
Oh no, and the brother, like I appreciate his perspective, because like that you shouldn't be like shunned when you're a black person and you're talking, with black people, and you want to highlight the fact that, hey, in the household, things of that nature, in our direct communities, we need to value certain things as a culture. That's just a fact.
Can I do a comparison? Let's compare swimming to track and field. Does meritocracy for black people work in swimming? Hell no. Does it work in track and field? Yes.
Yes.
In soccer, yes. In football, yes. In sports that don't require any equipment, meritocracy works because we're pitting our best against everybody best. But in sports like swimming, where you require a pool, where you require water, where you require chlorine, where you require so many different things, meritocracy don't work because people don't have.
Point.
But look though, Stupides, say a group of Asians or white people were to protest and say we're underrepresented in certain sports, and me as a parent, go ahead.
That was one of the best analogies I heard all week, and usually I'm not a big fan, but that was one of the best ones I heard. Well, go ahead, Stupid. I mean,
but if all factors are equal, then we can discuss meritocracy. But if some people have innate advantages, it is unfair. Although some people don't like to use the word fair.
I agree.
But that is the argument about meritocracy. That's the problem I have. Because some people use it as a tool, especially, and those people who
I think you're referring to the radical people. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Some people gravitate towards it because, especially persons who are doing well. People who do well like to champion meritocracy because they said, I was able to pull myself from my bootstrap. Why everybody can pull themselves from my bootstrap.
But look, Stupides, do you realize why I bring up the importance of addressing? That's why I bring up genetics and all of that, because I understand everyone isn't resilient. Everyone varies, because I did some. I know that the other person probably can't do something and vice versa. So how do you create a system of equity and equality when so many people vary individually?
Right, but that's the middle ground. No, that is the middle ground. That you're going to have mediocrity people in high position, and we have brilliant people in high position. And when it comes to certain positions, certain persons are going to fail and certain persons are going to excel. But certain persons will never get the opportunity. You'll never know how good they are.
Right. But that's why creating pipelines based off excellence and incorporating cultural differences. If black people or the education system or whatever can create a pipeline to address the things you're talking about, going to the worst of the worst communities and, finding variables to find certain black children and black children at large to help maximize their potential. I don't see nothing that's wrong with that. Like,
so Fetty, let me get back in. So Fetty, what does this pipeline do? Does it like produce more qualified African Americans, or does it just seek out the qualified African Americans?
It actually does both. It does both.
Okay, so how does it help produce more?
Because it produces more because it incorporates things like y'all talked about, like in dealing with IQ tests and standardized tests. They want to incorporate cultural differences and how different cultures learn differently and things of that nature. So they want to implement that on the ground level at young ages and stuff like that. And it's shown that it's worked. And at the same time, promote those people who may not be outliers in the classroom, but to still be prepared to be in a diverse environment. AKA when that black child leaves his immediate environment and assimilates he's still going to have the tools to know how to operate, whether they're in a room full of white people, Asians, or whatever. So they're trying to, like I'm saying, read it, bro. They talk about all of that.
No, I've never heard that before. That's why I was asking you the question. So,
and look,
so I
and
mean,
I hate to bring this into
what that says.
I hate to
No,
bring this into
that's
it.
like. Go ahead.
I hate to bring this into it because even I'm not going to talk about it that much, but in the section of the bell curve, they say when controlling for the things that a meritocracy society would, they found that black people was at positions at a higher rate than white people. So when you factor
I'm
in
gonna leave that part out. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying when studies have shown when you factor intelligence and outlier scores, they find that black people outnumber other groups. So it's like and again, I heard Stu Pease a couple of days ago say you can't save everybody. Remember we was talking about education, that really you can't save everybody, and the ones who are the outliers in the class needs to be in a more class that's not homogenous based off just them being black. Like we talked about all this. You know what I mean?
No,
So
and I'm gonna take a page out of Sheffrin's book right here, right? Because this is how Sheffrin kind of sort of shows me that he's not like trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? He'll say shit like, "You kind of fucked that up," but he ain't gonna sit there and be like, and go back and forth with me over an hour because he's not making it personal, even though he just reminded me, hey, you might have messed up a little bit somewhere. So what I'm gonna do, I heard you on the bell curve stuff, and I'm gonna just keep it back on the regular stuff that we've talked about. I'm on your side. So I'm saying that would be
again, if you ain't understand what I was saying, like tying that.
No, I did hear you. I just wanted to give you a compliment before I started talking. That's all.
I got you.
Yeah, I just wanted to reaffirm we in a good spot. That's all I wanted to do. But for what you were saying earlier, like that would be kind of blending meritocracy and equity at the same time, right? Because I view both of those things as like direct opposition to each other. Right now, if you're saying that the pipeline, see, it's still unfortunate because of how politics work, right? I don't want to have stuff like that shrouded behind other things like meritocracy, right? Because if you ask me, I would much rather y'all just work on this pipeline and we could leave meritocracy all the way the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be how I would want to do it. You know, because like I feel like if you're talking about increasing IQ scores, you're talking about early childhood development, I can get behind that, right? But all that, but I guess the language can kind of make it a little tricky for the rest of the stuff. But go ahead. What else did you want to add? I'm done.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, this is definitely a good convo. I think instead of like again, somebody whenever we talk about things that we can do on our own, I think that's what the meritocracy, even though it's not a direct correlation, meritocracy can be used as another word like excellence. So again, if you're black and you want to promote excellence and not lowering a standard, you know, just to have us sitting at the table, I think we should hear more black people out who got those perspectives, man, instead of just thinking, oh, you think that you a coon and all that. That's all I'm saying. Because in reality, a lot of those black people who had those perspectives actually care about moving black people forward. You just may not agree with the roadmap that they trying to get that done, but that don't mean that they hate black people and shit like that just because they address things that we can obviously.
No, I agree. I was the only person in here who said that you're not a racist, and that's why, because I believe of how it happened. Right? We said, hey, how do you help out black people? And you said you offered what you said in the spirit of helping black people. So I don't think that you're a racist. Now some of the shit that you say sound like it, but I don't think that, you know, deep down inside you, I don't believe you're a racist. Go ahead, C-Dot. Go ahead.
I don't think that's what CB was saying. I don't think he was calling that man a racist. Particularly, he was saying that he was using white.
People call Fetty racist all the time. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not. I'm saying that in the situation to what Stu Pease was talking about, he was saying that the brother is using white supremacist talking points in order
he was talking to another person. He was talking to it wasn't
like that. I'm black and I had
you got the voices mixed up.
I mean, I've been around a lot of black folks in my life, and I mean my unique, you know, life path of me playing football, being in different states. I have a good pulse especially on my age group, on what's going on and what we focus on and what we don't. Even though I can't speak in absolutes, even though I can't speak in absolutes, and I don't know, I can't understand what all black people are doing, but I have a good idea of what my age group, what we value and things like that, and things I see that are patterns no matter where you at in America. So if you say that's white talking points, I mean, just remember that I'm black, and I'm not just talking based off.
No, he thinks that you're somebody else, Fetty. He talking about the other guy that was in here that was arguing with Corey. Yeah. I'm telling you, you are. See that you're confusing.
I'm not confusing him. I know the difference between him and the other brother that I said I couldn't have a conversation with. I know the difference. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not speaking on the other guy. I'm speaking on what the brother was talking about. And when Stoopy said that it was that some of the talking points come off as white supremacist talking points because we're talking about meritocracy as if like that's something that we do. Like the whole meritocracy conversation comes from white folks. They brought that shit up. Black folks ain't out here talking about no damn meritocracy.
He's just been doing that for 3,000
years. The whole DEI conversation. The whole DEI conversation was brought up from white folks, not wanting black people to have affirmative action or diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like that came from white people.
Do you see why some people
get
think that
behind
those
it and say,
policies
"Hey,
are
yeah,
harmful?
you know what? DEI is not right." I'm just saying that when you have black people that say these things, you're using the talking points of white supremacists.
Just say it. You a coon. Just say it.
Who a coon?
No, I'm saying if you have any talking points address. No, I'm saying if a lot of black people feel, you just said it. If you have talking points that critique certain things dealing with certain policies or just directing the energy to black people on an inward thing instead of saying, you know what, let's stop blaming external things for a moment. Let's huddle up real quick and see what can we do as a team to make our situation better. To a lot of black people,
why are you doing
you will be labeled. Hold on, you will be labeled as giving white supremacy talking points in the cool.
No, because you have to go with what started the conversation. Number one, it's always gonna go off of what started the conversation. This video was titled "R.I.P. Charlie Kirk." Okay, so I'm off the dribble. I can already know that this conversation was started. The beginning of the conversation was started based on shit that Charlie Kirk had spoken about.
Oh no, we've been talking about DEI like for months. Like
wait. Let me land it because I'm telling you why somebody would say you're giving white supremacists talking points. So I want you to understand why, and it's not based on somebody just being brother. It's not just based on somebody being able to call you a coon or a Sambo. It's based on white people using these talking points against black people. So when you adopt these same talking points that white people use against black people, then automatically other black people who have heard these talking points on a regular basis are going to assume that you're getting your talking points from these same white supremacists. Because
that's not really fair though, because you already excluded black people. So like you exclude, it's not a fair fight because you automatically said like, okay, any black person that's spewing this is doing this. And if the white person is saying that, you echoing what they saying. But what if I were to tell you, what if it's just certain humans that feel this way? Why does everything have to be again so hot and cold, bro? In these conversations,
but I'm not.
Bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not making that. I'm explaining to you where the rationale comes from.
You don't see how that rationale is
you're using
faulty?
No.
Okay.
Because it makes sense. If somebody is using the same talking points of the people that's been antithetical
like what? What's my talking point?
Then of course, why would I not say, well, you getting that talking point from a white supremacist?
So white supremacists trying to change the black community? I ain't know that. Because again, like I think what's important is what you do in real life.
What do you mean? You didn't know white people were trying to change the black community?
No. I'm saying in my real life, I can't be called a coon or whatever because I actually help the black community. And I can show you in a No,
I never called you a coon.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying no. Listen. I'm saying that premise is faulty because I would automatically give a rebuttal and say, hold on, let's apply real life for a second. How can a person on the internet who's so pro-black, this, and police everything somebody say, right? How can you call somebody a coon or whatever you saying based off their talking points if you don't even know what they do in real life.
Reverting it back. This is what I'm
I'm just,
saying. You keep reverting back to that same talking point that's not
no, I'm
being used
saying no.
against you. I didn't
Again,
call you a
I don't know
coon
any
or a
white
Sambo.
supremacist
I
or
didn't ask
anybody
you
who's
about. See,
doing
you
what
keep
I'm
cutting me
doing.
off, bro. I let you talk. When I
All
start
right, go ahead.
talking, just let me finish, and then I'll let you talk
Go
back.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? If you cut me off every time, I don't understand how you can get what I'm saying. And all I'm trying to tell you, I'm not calling you a Sambo or a coon. What I'm trying to tell you is that the reason someone would come to the conclusion that you're using white supremacist talking points is because white supremacists have been using them. So if you come back and regurgitate the same thing that we've heard from white supremacists, then where are we supposed to think you got it from?
Okay, can I talk? You done?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So again, I think you misinterpreted what I said. Like, I never said you said anything. We were talking about people that had that idea that if you say this, you're that. So I don't know where you got that from, but in
But I just
regards,
cleared it up for you. I just cleared it up for you.
I
I
got you.
said
No, I'm
when
saying
people say
I
that you're
got you.
using white supremacist
But
talking
again,
points,
let me fit, bro. You just talked about not somebody cutting you off, and you just cut me off. But I'm saying
you
when you
asked me a
talk about,
question. I was answering it, but go ahead.
I got you. But when you talk about these things, it's like you trying to corner me by again saying something like, yeah, if the person insinuates this, yeah, I'm telling you that fault is that premise is faulty. If I go further into detail and say, let's really talk about the conversation. So that's why I say I find no validity in a person on the internet hearing my talking points and saying, oh, you're this, you're that. Because if you peel the layers back, most of these niggas who have these talking points against me ain't doing shit in real life. So I don't care. Like that's all I was saying.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That wouldn't I don't fit that box. So therefore, I don't know if that was like a shot or something like that or whatever. But I
Bro,
don't
are
fit
you
that box.
listening
So
to
it
what I'm
has
saying?
nothing to
I
do with
said
me.
this isn't
What I'm saying,
directed to you. Can you listen, bro? Like
I
I
got you.
said this
I got
isn't
you.
to
That's what I'm
you.
saying. I got you. I'm
Okay,
not
but
attacking you, brother. I'm just talking to you.
you no,
Okay.
I'm saying you feeling offended, but I keep trying to make the
I'm
disclaimer.
not
I'm not talking
offended.
about
I'm
you.
talking to you. I
Bro, you
never
literally
said you
just
was
said, I
talking to
don't know
me.
if that was
I'm
a
not
shot,
offended.
bro. You literally said, I don't know if that was a shot. Let's slow down. You literally said, I don't know if that was a shot. You're not listening to what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. We be talking past each other so much in conversations, just in this Discord overall. I literally made the disclaimer 3 times. This isn't directed towards you. And at the end of that, you said, I don't know if it was a shot. Like, come on, bro. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead.
Okay. I think you want to lean on stuff too much, but it's all right. You know what I mean? Still, the basis of my conversation is the fact that you saying white supremacists or things that white supremacists say will automatically
Give me some
lead to a
detail. Give
person
me
who
some
would
details.
listen to
What
white
do I be saying?
supremacists.
Like, what do I say that's so white supremacy? Like, I don't get it.
I didn't say you said I'm like I think you so busy trying to respond and
No,
not
bro, I'm
actually
telling you
hearing
that
what
that
I'm
premise
saying to
that
you.
you're talking about is faulty. So I already established why. So I'm trying to figure out why
If
we
it
keep.
don't, okay, well, cool. If it don't apply to you, then it's not about you.
Okay, I got you. All right,
I'm
cool.
giving you an example of why somebody would say that you're kicking white supremacist propaganda.
Yeah, and I told you why. Yeah, I got you.
Especially by bringing up meritocracy and DEI
Did
as
you hear
if
the context I
DEI
brought
is
up?
something
Did you hear the
negative
context
for
I brought
black
up,
people.
meritocracy, though? Was that a white supremacy talking point in the way I brought up DEI in this conversation and meritocracy? Yes or no?
I'm not sure. I'm just giving you an
Oh, okay.
example of why
Okay.
somebody would go to the point of saying that you're kicking white supremacist talking points. It's probably
Okay.
because you are. I don't know
You
how to
saying
simplify
probably? That's
it.
what I'm saying. It's a lot of what about or this or that. Like I'm trying to stick with reality. Like I mean,
I don't know your
like
reality. It can be
that's what
totally
I'm
different
saying.
from
If you're
mine.
gonna talk about, hey, you're talking about white supremacy. Not you. You're not saying that, but you're saying if a person thinks you're saying this about meritocracy or DEI, this is what they would assume. But I'm making the clarity and nuance that I don't give those talking points. I'm trying to figure out, like, it's like you throwing stuff at the wall and see what's trying to stick. But it's like I'm trying.
No, I
I'm
would
literally.
no. I'm explaining what you asked initially was why do people? For one, you said people call people Sambos and coons or whatever. So I was giving you an example of why people go to
So
you're using white supremacist talking points.
critiquing
If
my
you're
own
using white
culture is a
supremacist
white
talking
supremacy
points,
talking point.
yeah,
I
I
can't
swear
do
to
that.
God, bro. It's like as soon as you ask a question And then before you get the answer, you start
No,
talking over
I'm just
it again
confused, bro, because you
because
didn't
you're
give
not
any
trying to hear.
nuance. I'm
You
sorry.
wouldn't
Go
be
ahead.
fucking confused if you just
I mean, you
let me
kind of
finish.
incoherent a little bit, but go ahead.
You wouldn't be confused at all.
Again,
It wouldn't be incoherent
let's
if
go
you
into the
just hushed
details. So a
while I
black
was
person
talking. And
critiquing
as
us
soon as I was done talking,
that's
you
white
could
supremacy
respond.
talking point?
But you don't even understand that. But let's talk about your age range since you want to talk about the people that's in your
Yo, can we
area.
let's talk
How old are
about
you,
something
brother?
else, yo.
How old are
Y'all
you?
take a break, man. Let's
It's
talk about something else.
I'm
black
This
asking
is
the
people
finna
brother a
devolve,
direct
man.
question, man.
critiquing
I'm
us to
asking the
do
brother
better
a
white
direct question.
supremacy
Nah,
talking point.
man.
I don't care what you need, brother.
Nah, yo. We was
How
doing
old are
good,
you,
man.
brother? We're doing good
Hey,
now,
nah.
bro. I don't need you to come in and
Nah,
do
we
it like
not. We
me and the
not.
brother
We was
having a
talking about
conversation. We
you
talking.
asking
If
a
you don't,
man
if
about
you're
his
not cool with it,
age and
cool.
you
Because he,
about to ask the
like
nigga
for real,
what he do on the weekends and shit, yo. I want to
bro.
know
I'm trying to be
about
so
this other
respectful, bro.
shit.
I'm trying to be respectful, bro. But you're really making it
Motherfucker,
hard.
I'll just kick your bitch ass out this motherfucker. For real, for real.
Okay,
You
well,
ain't
do
gotta
that.
respect shit up in
Do
here.
that. Do that, my
Real
nigga.
shit.
Do that.
I'm asking
I'll
you
be
to
all
chill
that.
out.
Be
And if
all
you
that. I'll
don't
be
chill
all that.
out,
Because you're
I'll
going
just
to have to
remove
kick
you,
me out
man.
with your bitch ass. Okay, well, remove
Hey,
me.
hey,
Faggot.
bro, come on,
Well,
come on,
you know
man.
what? I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back.
Oh man.
I got heated out. I didn't mean to call you a bitch ass
Yeah,
nigga.
yeah.
I
You
was
want to call
tripping.
me a bitch ass nigga and I call you? I can heat up with you. That's what I'm saying. I can heat up with you or
I
I can
said
keep
I
it
was
cool with you.
tripping,
Which
yo.
one you want?
I just said I was tripping, but I'm asking you
Okay,
to
now I'm
stop.
trying to
Like,
keep
can
it
we
cordial.
get back
I'm
on the
asking the brother
conversation?
how old he is because he
Can
brought
we
the
keep
fact
it
that
back
he
on
was
the
dealing with
conversation, bro?
people in his age range. That was the reason I asked him. We didn't need for you to
But
come in and do
I'm
no
asking
type
you
of
to get
variation.
back
I'm
to
talking to a grown
meritocracy,
man.
bro.
I'm
I'm
talking to
asking
a
you to
grown
get back to
man. What
meritocracy,
fucking
yo.
point are you bringing up if I'm talking to another grown man? Why do you
I'm
niggas feel
asking you
like
to get back to meritocracy.
Nigga tripping.
Hey, hold up. Let me go ahead and say something real quick. Yo, see that? This DQ. I'm one of the owners of the Discord. Let's bring it down a little bit, y'all. It's a lot of people on this mug. Let's get it back together, get back on topic. It got kind of crazy. I'm about to unmute you, King.
But now we passed that. I
I
ain't
asked a
tripping off
simple
that. We
question,
we,
bro.
we
I
passed
just
that, bro. We good, bro.
I'll say it again, yo. My bad for calling you a BNA. Can we please get back to meritocracy? I'm saying please.
I'm asking the brother
Yeah,
a
okay, no,
question.
bro. All right. So when we talk about meritocracy, the reason why I brought that up is because again, I'm asking you, right? Is there white supremacy talking points for a black? Hold on. Is there white supremacy talking point for a black person to give, a inward critique and acknowledge, the strengths and weaknesses and how we need to progress? Is that white supremacy talking points? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Discord must be
What
doing
happened?
that bullshit again.
Yeah,
Somebody talking?
yeah,
Yeah,
we
the
back.
Discord glitching today, y'all. We back though.
Now I'm sitting there. I heard the brother ask the question. I didn't think he was asking me
Oh
the
no,
question, so I
can
was
you
waiting
hear
for
me now,
somebody else
bro?
to answer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I heard.
I was saying, when it comes to,
I heard. Were you talking to me?
no. I wasn't directly talking to you, but I'm trying to, because
Okay.
again, my overall sentiment is that I notice, especially in certain, discords or just online communities, any black person that really cares about our people as a whole, they may have a different roadmap, and that incorporates a lot of just inward critique and not leaning on external factors, because a lot of us feel like in the race that we talking about, we don't have time to really do that in 2025. It's good to do that, but at the same time, you also got to promote, and I think that's what the brother Tony was talking about, excellence, just as a culture, valuing certain things. Not saying that we don't, but we just got to do it at a better clip. Because when you bring up data or sports, it's crazy how people look at sports and look at data and you can indicate stuff, but when we do that with other situations in real life, niggas act like that same concept don't apply. The reality is we in a competition, bro, and we gotta, in order to bridge this shit, we gotta have some form of accountability. That's all I'm saying. So why is it that when certain black people critique and want to see some inward improvement, why do they get labeled as a person echoing white supremacy talking points, a coon, etc.? That's my only.
Oh no, we can't do that. We gotta stick to meritocracy. We can't. I can't address your
Meritocracy.
question
I think that's what
because
he
we
was
gotta
talking
stick
about.
to
Meritocracy
meritocracy.
is dealing with excellence. That like meritocracy can be broken down in different forms. That's why I say like don't get focused on the word, but actually see what it's trying to describe, and it's ultimately trying to describe valuing excellence or just something being done at a high level and rewarding that. So that could be incorporated.
I just want to point out. I just wanted to point out the fact that you brought this question up, asking the same question again.
Okay. I got you.
You asked about Coon and Sambo. So when if I respond to it and respond to that question, then I don't want Logic to jump in and be like, no, we only supposed to be talking about meritocracy.
All right, man. Come on, y'all. We gonna have this conversation or not? God damn.
Somebody else can respond if you want to. I just wanted to make sure that we stuck to it. I want to make sure we stuck to what Logic was saying. We gotta
see that.
I didn't
no
mean
one.
to get everybody all emotional. You know what I'm saying? I apologize.
Oh my God.
Well, now what? I was trying to stop this shit, right?
God damn.
What happened? I think they're good now. It doesn't calm down.
Okay. But we don't need to veer it back up. We don't need to throw any subtle shots. We don't need to be no condescending. Let's just have the conversation like grown man.
Okay, brother Fetty, would you be able to break down like for example, you know what I mean? Like who would you be saying like in the past who've been called a Sambo or a Coon for having those accountability talks?
What's going on?
Background.
I just got back. What's going on? Turn it down, baby. What's going on?
Me? With a lot of background noise?
No, that was me. I just got back. What's going on? I heard Coon and Sambo as soon as I walked in the door.
Yeah, Fetty was asking why people get called Coons and Sambos for holding black people accountable. So I was asking for an example of like who might he be talking about. Would you say like Candace Owens gets called a Coon? So would you say like she's not a Coon or Sambo for the things that she says?
I mean, nah, she would be called the coon for something like, again, I don't agree with Candace Owens, but on a lot of things. But when she says simple things like African Americans, we have terrible conflict resolution skills. You know what I mean? Am I supposed to say, hey, she's 100% wrong? Or am I supposed to apply what I saw in my real life and things I need to improve on as well and things I see? And a lot of the conversations y'all see, even though it's not absolute, is she 100% wrong?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
She's not. She's
Okay.
not. She's not.
No, she is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you couch conflict resolution skills as anything racial, and you try to make it inherently racial, human beings have conflict resolution issues. Younger people have conflict resolution issues. But I'll never accept when someone says African Americans have conflict resolution issues because you're talking about an
Only, she
entire
didn't say
fucking race.
only. She didn't use only.
I didn't
Did
say
she?
only. No, I didn't
No,
say
I'm saying,
only.
did
But
she say
she
that?
said,
She didn't say black
no,
people are the
you
only.
listen. I don't know what she said. I just heard what you just said.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
what you
saying. I don't
remember
know
the
what
clip
she
I
said. I
sent?
don't know what you
You
just
remember
said.
the clip I sent and you cursed me out? I was like, what the fuck? That was the
Yeah,
Candace Owens clip.
no, I don't remember. That's a while ago. No, I
Okay.
don't remember. That's a while ago. I'm just saying anybody, whether it was Candace
Thomas
Owens,
Owell. Hey, bro,
Candace
Thomas
Jenkins,
Owell.
Thomas Sowell, anybody.
Thomas
I'm just
Owell.
saying, no, anytime you group any human being that makes the statement out of their mouth, African Americans have I don't know. You would be implying that it's an inherent African American issue. Now, then my next question would be: are you saying that we're genetically predisposed?
See, this is what I'm saying.
Predisposed?
Oh my
No, I'm
God.
asking a question. Listen, y'all can get as emotional
I
y'all want.
can't
I
do
just
this.
got back here. Maybe I'm walking into a powder keg
Can't
or
do
some shit. But my question will always be:
Can't
when
do
you say African Americans do something, I need to know why. That will always be my question. And I'm speaking for people that can't defend themselves because my son is a fucking African American. So before y'all motherfuckers who don't know me or my son tell me I got conflict resolution issues, I'd like for you to explain to me how you apply that to all of us. That doesn't make that's similar to that black on black crime conversation we was having. 6% of the population of the 6% of that population represents the other 94% of people not doing shit. So no, I'm not gonna accept that. And I hope that wasn't contentious, but I hope y'all understood where I was coming from.
That was a great point. You said it better than I would have. Let me mute.
Hey, Brad,
Can you hear me?
when we
The
clearing up
question I was
argument,
saying when anybody
Hey,
talks
listen,
about
I'm not
culture,
ducking you, but I'm still in the road, Haskell. I'm
oh,
not
you on the
ducking you.
road.
We could do it today. No, I could send you a picture. I'm literally on the road. As soon as I get in the crib, I was gonna do something else, but we'll cut this live and then start the Garvey live. As soon as I get in the crib, but I'm still on the road right now. Hit the horn so this nigga believe me because you think I'm ducking him. Hit that horn right there.
I don't think you
Let
ducking.
me
I
get in
was
a
just
second.
playing.
Yeah, you hear
I
that
was just
horn, baby?
playing.
I'm just letting you know. No, because he said I was ducking him, but I got a reputation to uphold. I ain't ducking shit. I want all the smoke. But and this motherfucker in front of us about to cuss us out. But anyway, no, I just
no,
don't. I know
okay,
y'all
Brad.
don't like
Okay,
to
let's
have those
scratch that. Let's scratch
conversations. I'm
that.
just kidding.
Let's talk about Thomas Sowell and the fact that he addresses culture and the fact that we can correct things and how that trickles down to education and things of that nature. Anybody who again critiques on a accountability level, it's automatically assumed that they're not taking into account external factors. It's like it's an automatic. Oh, you say that means you don't take this into account. Well, why can't you think about both factors at the same time? Want to have accountability and also acknowledge the systematic barriers and shit that y'all talk about every single day.
My
Thomas
question.
Sowell don't do that.
My question. Hold on.
That
My
ain't what
question.
Thomas Sowell does.
Yeah, but when we talk about culture, we had the culture conversation earlier. I think culture is more of a reflection of what's going on in the black community versus a cause. I don't prescribe to culture being a cause. Because Fetty, I could be wrong and I could be saying the words wrong, but I think it's very dangerous to say that black people as a culture are murderous, don't have good conflict resolution. I think it's a reflection of what's going on versus the cause for what's going on. Hip hop music and language and things like that, they're talking about what's going on, but
I've read W.B. Du Bois and Booker T, and they both said basically the most intelligent of our people will have the ability to address the strengths and weaknesses.
I agree.
I can show you hella quotes. So again, if they was preaching that rhetoric in 2020,
say the rest of W.B. Du Bois. Say the rest. Because W.E.B. Du Bois later on in his life realized that it isn't that way. He backed away from the talent. Hold on, let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
I know what you said is true, but I'm telling you, when he had further reflection and he lived a little, trying to just push the talented 10th without Booker T. Washington's labor focus, he backed away from that shit, got so frustrated, left the United States and moved to fucking with Nkrumah. You
can't use that to undermine again his overall talking point, bro. You can't do that, bro. You can't say that he went. You cannot say if he got older, he went away with all. Come on, bro.
No,
He
well,
didn't.
hold
Like
on.
he
He
didn't. He
did
didn't.
back away
He
from
didn't.
talented 10th
No,
later in his life. Am I
I'm
tripping?
saying
no,
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 no.
no.
Trying to get
He
what
no.
I'm saying.
He stepped away. That, but
Go
that
ahead.
y'all confusing WB Du Bois, number one. The
Okay.
talented 10 conversation, as far as him feeling like so the talented 10 conversation was based on him saying that the most educated people in our communities are going to be the ones that come back to the communities and teach, so that the lower portions of the community, or the people that didn't have the opportunities to get educated, can be educated. That was the main focus of the talented 10.
Okay,
So
but
I
it
got
wasn't
you.
the
I wasn't
only
even
portions
going
of
focus
it,
that
of
the
it.
deep
portions
into
of
it.
it,
All I was
the,
saying
por-
was that both of them, Booker T and WB Du Bois, at a ground level of just black people mastering everyday life. I'm not going into the nuances y'all
right,
talking about. They're just saying,
right, but
as
that
far as
still exists
solutions,
today,
there
though.
has to be a form of
It's
looking inward. Both of them
Okay,
you're
said that.
right,
Freddie and C
but
Dot.
that's
Freddie
not
and C Dot. 1 second. Freddie and C Dot. Give me a second. Just give me 1 second. The quote is this: the Negro race, like all races, this is in 1903 of the Negro problem. The Negro race, like all races, is going to be saved by its exceptional men. It says in his shift was in the 1930s to the 1940s. This is during the Great Depression, and after he began to embrace Pan Africanism a little bit more, he focused less on a talented elite, more on mass organization of black workers, farmers, and everyday people. He quoted in 1933, "The talented 10th are today submerged largely because of the economic stress of the world. They cannot be leaders because they themselves are being hard pressed." Let me finish. I'm about to land my plane. In 1948, he rejected it. He criticized his own idea. "My own panacea of earlier days, the so-called talented 10th, proved to be inadequate. By the 1950s, Du Bois was aligning with labor movements, socialism, and Pan-African struggles far from the talented 10th idea." Now, somebody tell me where the words that he said was wrong, not how I was wrong.
the words that he said weren't wrong.
Okay, so then he
What I'm
did
saying to
reject the
you is that
idea later in his life, correct? Just tell me where he didn't
no,
reject it, where he just said he did. He said it. I didn't. I'm not saying this. He said it.
it is. I wish I had it in front of me. Um, it's a lot of nuance to all of that. To his conversation about the talented team and what actually he was bringing forth with the idea in the first place. So I wish I had it in front of me.
Well,
Really,
history.
because I would
I
actually
just
keep
read
going
you,
into
but
the
if you
quote.
History,
can't,
can you hear me?
I listened to your quote. And give me 1 second, brother Reggie. I listened to your quote when you find it, but I'm saying deal with what these are from his mouth. So deal with the words from his mouth I just read to you. Tell me where
I'm not
he
gonna.
didn't
I'm
reject
not.
it later.
I'm not gonna. I can't give you a rebuttal to it without having his words in front of me. So I don't want to give an improper rebuttal to what you're saying. But I know that what you're saying
Okay.
is a little bit off. So that's why I want to give the proper
I was
rebuttal
referring, hey brother,
and
I
not
was
just
referring
His
to the
word,
saying
his
something off
words
the
Philadelphia
top of my
Negro.
again.
head.
That's what I was
Hey,
referring to. The
listen. Do you know
Philadelphia
he turned
Negro.
wait, in 1950, 1960, in Battle for Peace, 1952, he says the power of the masses is the foundation on which the future of any people must be built. This is he turned to Marxism.
He also
You're
said men
correct.
have the right to
Go
demand,
ahead, brother
men
Reggie.
have
I
the
ain't trying
right
to
to
cut you off.
demand that the
I'm about to
members
walk
of a
into this
civilized
restaurant.
community be civilized. That's what I'm saying.
When did he say it?
He turned to
You
When did
can't
he say
socialism.
it?
undermine, you cannot
When
undermine all of
did he
those
say
quotes
it?
that, all right, bro.
He
Okay, can
say
I
it.
speak now?
Did he say what you just read? Go ahead, Reggie. When did he
I
say
was
it? Because the
referring to
dates
the
are important,
Philadelphia.
Freddie.
All right, go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead, brother Reggie.
So history has proven uh, Du Bois incorrect. Du Bois was always in search of and analyzing movements and ideas and systems. He was in search of one. So these are his analysis, more so his personal analysis on what he thinks. But history has proven that organizations, right, um, organizations, if done right, control the masses. That's what history has proven over and over again. So when we were talking about this whole thing of meritocracy, right? I was listening, and even though I heard the definition, I'm gonna say what the definition is. Meritocracy is a system, organization, or society in which people are chosen, promoted, or assigned roles based on their demonstrated abilities, talents, and achievements rather than their social class, wealth, or other external factors. The key to this, it starts with a system, an organization, or a society. In that uh, compartment, then people are chosen to fulfill certain roles because they are solving particular problems. The organization needs to solve a particular problem. And so therefore it is only natural to solve the problem that you find the best people that can help you, right? So, like the United States military or militaries around the world, very rarely uh, there are, in some cases, where people are chosen because of nepotism and social class. But ultimately, when the problem is not solved, they are given honorary roles and they are replaced by uh, a system, organization, or society, or in this case, I was just talking about the military. So, what we fail to do is that one, we do not have a plan based on analysis. History has proven Boyce uh, great in his thinking, but ultimately organizations like Sigma Pi Phi, right, that was the next stage of the Talented 10, has been most successful uh, for their organization management of people. They choose the best people. They have particular rules. You cannot be a member unless you have at least a minimum bachelor's, but more likely a master's. That you have a professional life that that shows that you are proven problem solver, and that you can now control at least 1,000 to 5,000 people, right? And so you recruit over and over and over and over these type of people. And so when the organization has some type of strategy, it trickles down to the masses where these people control in every aspect of Black life, right? And so they're very, very rigid. And so if you look at the list of Sigma Pi Phi members, they're all minimum in the Fortune 500s. They're lawyers, they're judges, they're corporate leaders, they're governmental leaders, right? And so that has proven to work, and that is just a mirror on the white counterpart organizations. That's just a mirror of them, right? It has been the best that we can do, right? But it was successful because they mirrored white achievement, right? So then meritocracy, right, is a norm for them. In the Black community at large, it is highly unorganized, highly fragmented, right? It needs leadership. It doesn't have a plan, right? So we could be upset about that. Now, all the name calling, like the Uncle Toms, okay, all of that stuff is in social media, and social media, you're partly safe, but if it was anywhere else, someone would hit them with a defamation suit and take their car, their livelihood. But because social media is not a real system, organization, or society, or government, anybody can say anything on social media, right? So please know that social media is the masses of ideas, but they don't mean jack shit. Don't mean jack shit. What means jack shit is your government, meaning if you live in a majority black city, how strong is that government, right? How and to keep the government in how can I say accountable, you have to study the American Revolution. You have to study the town hall structure, where the town hall structure or the people that come and they assess things that the government may not be doing. And then in the town hall meetings, right, they address those problems and they also set up a process that particular elected officials won't be elected again to office. This is how white folks do it, right? They have town halls, they have their government, and then they have town halls. And in the town hall, you drag the elected officials and all the commissioners and the police department, you drag them to the town hall. You don't go to city hall. City hall comes to you, and city hall has to defend itself. So I'm hoping I'm clearing up a few matters. We don't have a plan. What we're doing is not an organization. Looking at how
Black people have town halls.
huh?
Black people have town halls.
I'm saying that the best of the governments, right, structures have town halls. We need to learn how to make those more effective. I didn't say that we didn't have town halls, but I said that the best structures use these kind of structures. The best organizations, governmental system, or they use these structures. I didn't say that we don't have town halls. We absolutely do, but because we are mirroring something that works. That's how the Mormons, right? The Mormons, the rose to power, the Italians, the Irish, right? And other non-white groups that became white, right? Because Italians were guineas. Remember, they were guineas, right? They used this structure, and then they used sometimes their underworld and other access points to strengthen it. So what I'm saying to you all is that we are unorganized. I'll stop. And thank you for letting me speak, and thanks, Brass, and thanks, Logic, for your support of my kid.
Well, I can agree with that. I can agree that black people are disorganized. I think that it's the reason why we're disorganized is because we're fragmented. Um, you got so many different opinions about shit. Don't nobody want to actually stick together on what actually progresses black people, because we all gonna differ, or we're gonna have a different opinion on what process we need to take in order to benefit black people. So that's part of the issue. Um, I don't think he really addressed the whole Sambo and Coon statement too tough, but I mean,
it don't matter. Those are personal attacks that I said only can live in the unorganized social media kind of context. You will not have someone call anybody a Sambo in a government structure or a corporate structure or an organization that is important, because once that is done in that venue, that person will be sued. I did address it.
you can't. That person will be sued for what?
Defamation. I said that. See, the laws of the United States.
Not a form of defamation, though, brother. That like name calling is not a form of defamation. Like just saying somebody's a Sambo is not defamation. I would have to actually be telling a lie on somebody in order to be confirmed.
Sir. Okay, so the difference between me is that 3 days. For the last year, I've been involved in a defamation case for a Jewish guy that was called a nigger, right? And my pleadings is my pleadings for him, and I'm not a lawyer, has survived. I've gotten rid of 4 lawyers, right? And I'm working on sanctioning the defense's last lawyer. Defamation, you will have to tell me, because I know, right, what defamation is. Name calling in itself is not defamation, but if it's in an organizational capacity, then there is harm. If it was broadcast, right, to the public, there is harm. And what I'm talking about is not social media per se. I'm talking about organizations that feed people, organizations that control economics, organizations that control transportation. I'm talking about or organizations that provide some service. In that capacity, in law, there is no special damages, right, that you have to deal with, right? Because it's organizational. You're harming someone's ability to do their job.
I get that. I get that, but I think we're talking about in the context of YouTube, or we talking about in the context of black people talking about other black people who are antithetical to black causes in the black community. So that's
Well,
what
that
we more so talking about, not necessarily talking about a corporation or anything like that. Because I understand what you're saying as far as a corporation making a racial slur or anything like that. Yes, they can be held liable for defamation. But if you, like I said, in the terms of people just having a conversation, you can't sue me for defamation for calling it a Sambo, because
okay.
that's my
So
personal opinion.
here is the test. Here is the test. Okay, so for example, there is a live case with Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore against Harvard and the Kennedy Center, right? Where they took out many of their statements and said and said some untruthful things about Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore. That is a live case, right? Now, social media, again, is not an organization, it's not a society, it's just supposedly free speech, but sometimes it borders past that. For example, if you call me a name, you say I'm sickly, and you have a channel per se, right? Or you're on a chat and you're doing that to harm me to benefit yourself, I could sue you for defamation, right? Now, I could probably win on technicalities because if I'm in New York, I will drag your ass to New York. You better, once you're served, you better come to New York. You don't come to New York, I am going to get a default judgment without the merits of the case, right? So you be a big social media and you say something untruthful about me that damages me, again, I will drag your
Right,
ass to New
right,
York.
right. But that's defamation. I get what you're saying on that. But I call a former legislator down here in Atlanta named Vernon Jones. I make regular accounts. I make regular basis. I call him a coon and a sambo. Why? Because he's antithetical to black people in the city of Atlanta and in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, period. So I regularly call this former legislator a sambo and a coon, even to his face when I see him at events in Atlanta. So, and there's never a point in time to where I've ever gotten a piece of paper to say, hey, it's defamation for you to call him a Sambo or any of that type of stuff. Like he said more stuff, more things about me as far as like non-truths than me calling him a Sambo or a coon. So he talked about my family, all type of personal things. I call him a Sambo and a coon on a regular basis. and have never been prosecuted for it. So
No,
that's
no,
what I'm
it's
saying. Like I don't think that it's something that we can lean back on the
I'm
law and
in
say,
court right now. So I wish I could show you my court papers, but I cannot. But what I'm saying to you is, watch how you do it. I would advise you not to call him specifically out on what he does, but do not name call him, right?
"Oh, I'm
And
getting shirts made."
and do not think at some point, because people get angry, and if they have the money, the problem is if he drags you into court, then you're going to have to represent yourself and get a lawyer. So to prevent that, you would choose your words a little bit more carefully so that you could
Not really. I'm gonna just reverse it on him in court. So as soon as he calls himself trying to take me to court for using my freedom of speech, then I'll just reverse that around and he'll pay the expenses for all of it.
Okay, but both of you have to be meritorious on your case. So the thing about it is, that's your idea, and I'm not saying you're not capable, but I did say you have to do two things. One, you have to represent yourself, right? Or you have to get a lawyer. The average lawyer fee is $450 an hour, right? Per lawyer, and then you have to pay for paralegals and other, and then you have to pay more for your motions and court appearances. Now, I'm pretty sure you seem to be able to represent yourself in the court, but that's going to take
never.
Huh?
You know, I would never represent myself in the courtroom. I would have a lawyer to represent.
So then you have to pay $450 an hour.
No, I have representatives. I mean, you know, how much I pay is, you know, I guess between me and my team, but I wouldn't. That's not a worry. Like that's not a situation where I'm worried about, because, like I said, I'm not breaking the law by calling somebody a Sambo or a coon.
No, you may be, you actually may be, but here's
Sure,
the thing.
I'm pretty sure. I'm good.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, because you know why I'm not so sure? Because I live for this. I'm waiting for one of these stupid YouTubers, right, to come out there and say something to me personally that's not true, so I can show you all what the idea of pretty sureness is, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. But you would have to then point out what's not true. So, like, I'm not saying for you in particular, but when I call Vernon Jones a Sambo and a coon, it's because of the fact that he has been antithetical to black progression for black people in this state.
Okay, so now
So it's not without cause and it's not without reason. So it's not, and it's also not a lie about it. I'm not making up something. I'm not saying he has he got a disease or his wife, you know, he cheating on his wife. Nothing I made up. I'm calling him something based on his actions towards black people.
What I'm saying is language in court is really important. An open-ended word like a coon, what is the definition? It's a derogatory statement. So the first issue is the statement itself derogatory? Second, could you have said the same thing another way that helps your issue?
Right. But have you ever heard of somebody getting sued because they call somebody a bitch?
I have well, see, a bit okay, so now remember, there are things like it's all in the court pleadings, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that you can accomplish your goals, right, by sometimes using better language.
Right. You're right. You're very right about that. But because of the First Amendment, I can say what I want. I don't have to use a different language. All I have to do is not, like you said, intentionally lie about a person, because that would be defamation. But if I want to insult an individual, that is perfectly within my right and within the First Amendment. I can
Yes.
assault. I can assault a police officer. I can call him a bitch ass motherfucker, all that type of shit, and he can't do shit. Why? Because it's my First Amendment right to be able to say what I want to say.
Okay, and so so remember one of the latches to defamation is as long as this if the statement is true, right, and you can prove it, you don't have to worry. Now, with the problem is if you're calling a person a coon and you're saying they're not serving black people, well, as somebody who knows a little bit of law, what they will do is they will gather up more affidavits than you know that they could, and that you would have to gather up the same.
This don't even make sense.
What you a barber? What don't make sense?
I'm cutting hair right now.
Damn.
I'm cutting hair right now.
I'm mute.
Reggie always throwing shots at me. He crazy.
Because you jump up and you can say it in other ways. I'm not throwing shots at you. I'm just saying you can say it another way. So I'm listening. I apologize. First, I apologize. Second, I'm listening.
Thank you. About what I'm saying, like you saying somebody can be sued for being insulted, like that. How would you do that? I can curse a person out. You know what I mean? I can tell a politician that they're not serving my community. How do they can't turn around and sue me because I made an assessment, whether true or false, about their duty to a community. Politicians and stuff get called out all the time. You dig what I'm saying? Like
you have the right
you can't go around suing somebody because they disagree with you on whether you creating policies or doing things for certain communities. How can you sue for that?
Okay, so here's the thing: is the difference is that you can make your critiques, right? But calling them a particular word, right? A particular derogatory word, you could accomplish your goals of criticism without calling somebody.
I agree with that.
You agree with me?
Yeah, but we're talking about suing them for it.
Right.
Like, how does that work? That's
So
I thought you was attempting to prove.
Yes. So the thing about it is, if you do it in such a way where many of the statements you're saying is not true, right? Or they have a dispute in your material facts, then a judge or jury will assess the material facts based on what your perception is. But you can accomplish your goals without calling people open-ended. See, the problem is open-ended labels and conclusions do not survive plausibility. Your criticism could probably survive, but not the name. For example, let me give you an example, right? Okay. Why the FBAs will never ever be successful in any court proceeding on reparations or anything is because the FBA is a conclusionary label, right? Meaning that all the foundational Black Americans are deceased, right? They are all deceased. So if I say something about the current FBAs, they're not the FBAs, they're descendants of FBAs because the original FBAs are all deceased, right? The last one probably enslaved African or any died, right? If you want to do with slavery they probably died in the 1910s, 1920s. So this group is a label. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
What part don't you understand?
That ain't even make sense.
Why don't it make sense?
Because you are what your forefathers were, right? The reason why you claim African American is because of a lineage,
No,
right?
no.
Yes,
It's not because of a
yes.
limit. It's my
Well,
current
I'm
status.
not doing it.
It's my
I'm not
current
doing
status.
like the reason. No,
It's
two
my
things
current
can be true.
status. I am a living African American.
Right, but and that goes back to how do you prove that you're an African American? What
Because
makes you
on the
qualify
census
that you're an
report, I
African American?
click because on the census
That ain't
report,
got
in
nothing to
order-
do with no damn.
yes, because see,
The reason
the problem is that in we live in the United States. We have to click things to verify. Whereas is
only thing you gotta click is that you're an American. You don't have to say you African American or nothing. The only relevant question is whether you are an American. All of that other stuff is arbitrary for the most part.
Oh yeah, but why does the government?
Yeah. So now you gotta calm that down. The government can put anything because they know people like to label themselves. But you don't have to do that. You being an American is equivalent for anything that you want here.
Okay,
you
so
saying that you're African American or Black or Native American, all of that is secondary. That's added information if you want to give that.
I love this, Chef. I love this. You know why? Right? Because it's dialogue that can help. So, what's the point of discrimination suits if we're all Americans?
That's something completely different.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Because in the discrimination, you have to say that you are a protected group.
Hold on. You say you're being discriminated on because of your rights as an American. It's being violated.
No, because you're a protected group in America, which is the African American.
No, that's not true. That's
Why
not
is it
true.
not
Any
true?
group, you don't have to be. You don't
All
have
groups
to
are
be
protected in America, though.
You don't
All
have
groups
to
will
be
be
a
protected.
group. Yeah, you
Not all groups are
American. That's
protected
your
in
protection.
America. That's why we lose
No,
family.
the fact that you're an American is your protection.
Hey,
Once you
sir,
prove that your American rights have been violated, that's what gets you that.
Sir.
Yes, it's
I mean,
constitutional
no.
rights. Once your constitutional
The
rights
difference
have been
between
violated,
and the difference
you're right.
between me, the difference between me and any of you is that if you look up my name, Reginald A. Mabry, right, under Google Scholar, you will see a case that I did for discrimination. You will see that there is 141 citations on my case. That means 141 litigants use my case in either way, right? So I am the standard in plausibility in employment discrimination in the United States right now. My case has 141 citations. I am not listening to you because I know law because I went through the process.
Yeah,
So
but how does that exclude the
that
constitutional rights of the people in the country? Because he's still talking about constitutional rights. You saying the protected people under the you protected under the Constitution. So if your constitutional rights are being
protected, I like that. What constitution? What constitution statute says this?
Says what?
Are you serious?
That your rights have to be protected as an American citizen?
You have the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment, right? And it has certain latches to show basically what a protected person is, right? But that's not all people.
Explain it.
No,
give me an example of protected people.
You said all people are protected. I said no.
No, I'm saying Americans are protected under the Constitution. So if your constitutional rights are being abridged upon, then yes, you have a case. Like you don't have to. I don't. That's what I'm trying to understand. The protected people that you're talking about, you're protected under the Constitution. So, like, are you saying that it's a certain people that are in the Constitution are the only ones that can use this, or like that's what I'm trying to get understanding. I'm not really trying to go against what you're saying. I just don't get it because what Chef was saying was more accurate is that people are protected under the Constitution. Black people fought to be protected under the Constitution.
Okay, so here's
Right?
this is why this is so problematic, right? Because I asked you to tell me where the protection is under the Constitution and how that works, right? But you say, and then on the issue of protected, but who is protected, right? There's a latch to being protected. No state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. There is your protection. So your protection is only that you have the right to go to court, right? That's your that's the only right that you have. That you have the right to go to court. That's all, right? You don't get automatic protection. You have a right to show to a court of law, right?
Where did you get your law degree at?
I don't have a law degree, but I have 141.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait. I have. Do you understand that if you type my name up and it goes to employment law, any employment law case in right now in the United States will cite my case? Why? Because I have 141 citations. So my issue is part of the United States, laws when it comes to employment. You don't believe me? You type my name up. Go to Google Scholar, click federal, type my name, Reginald A. Mabry. And you will see
I'm not disagreeing with that, and I feel you, but I'm saying you ain't making sense right now.
Because
like
you're not
you might got all of it. I'm saying what you just said previous is not making sense. How black people are not protected under the Constitution. Like we don't understand that. You said that we're a protected group. What do you say?
You said that we're all Americans, right?
Yes.
We're all Americans, right?
You want to see my passport?
And that yes, huh? Yeah, we're all Americans. And I told you that the United States, right, segments its population based on classifications. Those classifications matter when people are when people's rights are violated, right? So when you're under a particular classification, you have protected status. You have protected status.
And show me where African Americans got protected status other than their American rights. Make that. I've never seen that in practice.
Okay, so let me just look it up. Okay, so under Federal Executive Order 11246 as amended, protected minority groups are defined as African Americans, Asians, Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans, right? All women are designated a protected group. Okay, so under Federal Executive Order 11246 as amended, protected minority groups are defined as African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. Okay, so I said it. What's your point now?
Right. So now you have to explain what does that mean?
So first, my first for was to tell you that it existed. Now,
okay,
you want me to explain what does that
because
mean?
now we got to mean what you now we got to mean what you was implying. You know what I mean? That it means that about our constitutional rights is what I said protects us. So does that clause that you just read under the protected status, is that ensuring that our constitutional rights will be upheld.
In law, what it is it gives you a cause of action to plead that you are a protected minority group and that you have been disenfranchised by some corporation or some government or something like that. So in your pleadings, you would say that I am of the protected minority group, and then if you complained about any discrimination, that gives you protected status, sir. So now I just explained it.
So what was your point?
I didn't have to make a point. I didn't have to make a point. What I did was read to you what the law is. I didn't have to make a point. What was your point?
No. You were talking about how FBA is ain't nothing because all foundational Black Americans are dead. And I said, well, how was you African American? And you said it's because of something about whatever you were just talking about.
Yeah, because
and I said, you don't even have to claim African American, and you still have your rights. I know that was my point.
Okay, so what I'm saying that the FBA is a label that doesn't have any plausibility because they are not the people who they're saying they are. Foundational Black Americans have already been deceased. What you are, if you claim that you're a descendant of the original population of Black people or African people that came to this country. So you are a descendant, right? And regarding the African Americans, the last reparation case, Posner said that a harm to your ancestors is not a harm to you, right? So it prohibits you for claiming something that happened to your ancestors in law. You have to show your own harm. We can show our own harm, right? Without using our ancestors, because it's continuous. So
do you agree? Do you agree with that?
It's not whether or not I agree with it. It's
no. That's the question that I asked.
Over, but I am a problem solver. That if what I suggest to our people is not to use conclusory statements that don't directly apply to us, so that we won't have to defend it. So I would not use ancestry. I would not use descendants, and I probably wouldn't necessarily use Black, but I would use African American or Black American as a current class, living class that I am, because I check the box, because I'm often required to check the box, because my birth certificate puts me in that class, and that is a protected class.
I find that don't even make sense, because some of the motherfuckers, Louisiana were part of the United States at one point in time.
Gullah, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Are old white people, old white person, wouldn't they be classified as a protected class?
No.
What about LGBT? What about gay people?
Yes.
They are a protected class.
Yes.
So why wouldn't old people be in that protected class? Isn't age a requirement?
Yes, old people are. That's what you call age discrimination.
Right, exactly. So an old white woman will be able to use that in their benefit.
Anybody old, anybody above 50, but your racial classification doesn't matter. You wouldn't use.
Right, but what I'm saying, race is also a part that's incorporated in the protected class. It'd be race, gender, age, all of those type of things, and it's basically
Okay,
just
for
to say
example,
that
in your
you can't
pleading,
discriminate against these people.
in your pleadings, if, for example, a white person was discriminated, an older white person was discriminated against by a group of black people in jobs or in a organization or in a government, that white person, Asian person, old Asian person, white person, they could sue those people because if they can prove that they were discriminated, they were singled out because of their race, their color, their religion, sex, their national origin, then they could sue. So then they would be, yes. So then after that, they would be protected. But what I'm saying about the FBAs is that you are not an FBA. Our ancestors, our ancestors you might want to say, if you want to say that they were the original inhabitants of the Americas with the colonists, that's fine, but you're not that. You're an imposter. You're an FBA. You're a goddamn imposter. You're a body snatcher. You're not those people. What you are is who you are in your current situation, a descendant. Otherwise, you're a body snatcher.
You're not African American.
Well, I get what you're saying. I think because I think you're trying to make a distinction between foundational Black American and descendants of Black Americans, or descendants of African Americans, or whatever. So I get what I get what you're saying, but I think like when we talk about protected, I think when people hear the words protected class, that like we should be a little bit more direct, because like what are we protected against? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the thing that we protected against would be discrimination, right?
Right. So you're absolutely right. So that's why I said in your pleadings, you would specify in your complaint, right? What actually happened. So then you would search for, hopefully, you will find yourself in a protected class because of your ethnicity and someone discriminated against you for your ethnicity. Now, when it comes to what we were originally talking about was defamation, right? If a person calls you a coon, right? Okay. On the first instance, it may be hyperbole. It may be hyperbole. Okay. However, if I, as a litigant, can say that you harmed me because of that, you're going to have to prove that I'm a coon. That's only my suggestion.
No, that's not how it goes.
How you prove
You saying
somebody
that's
a
just a
fool?
suggestion. I was about to say, 'cause that's not how the law goes, man. Like I
I'm
said, you
telling
don't like I don't have to prove that you're a coon in order for it to be like you can't claim defamation based on somebody's name calling. You have to be able to prove the harm that you took from being called a Sambo or a coon, and you won't be able to do that based on just it being an insult. So that's why I say I don't get where you trying to bring the whole law into calling somebody like you're not. It's nobody can find you for defamation for saying calling somebody else a Sambo or a coon. That's just not true. That's my only point.
And you say it's not true because you just, well, help me
No,
out with the
because
law.
it okay. Well, if you can show me,
Now you're sounding like
no
you're
problem. No.
Hebrew, the Christians, or you're telling me your belief, but you're not telling me.
I'm not
You're
telling
not
you a belief. Well, I'm not telling you a belief. I'm telling you it's something that I've never seen before in my life. I've never
you said,
seen anyone get found guilty or be able to be prosecuted based on someone calling you a Sambo or a coon. If you have examples of that, I'll take those examples, no problem. I'm just telling you
okay,
I've never seen it. I'm not
watch this.
calling you a liar or anything like that, but if you have the proof, let me see it.
Wait. For example, I just want to ask you. So this is your personal belief. This is your personal belief. Do you look at law cases regularly?
Not regularly, no.
So did you ever look for this particular matter on derogatory statements?
Sure. I mean, I've seen some cases about derogatory statements that actually got people cases, but typically, or defamation suits. But typically, the only way that those people won those suits is based on the information that came behind those statements. So it wasn't just the fact that they called somebody a bitch, but they said you a bitch ass, or you a bitch that you know what I mean that got AIDS,
Yeah, so you're
or
answering
you a
my question.
bitch that got this, that, or the third.
So
So
you
it
actually
was never based on. I'm
okay.
sorry. I hate.
Yeah, so you're actually agreeing with me because see the first prong, right, is that the statement is untrue. The second prong is whether it caused harm. Now, if you do this to a person publicly and it embarrasses the person, you're creating harm, right? Because
Not
it was
not 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 in most cases.
But and
An
isn't
insult
being a
to
Sambo,
somebody
is that,
publicly is not a.
and that can also just be your opinion, right? So that's like if you insult somebody and you call someone ugly, that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Now, if you are in a place of employment and then you call your boss calls you a Sambo, now that's a different thing because that's considered a racial slur. But if you're just on the street talking to somebody, you can have your opinion. You can call them a Sambo, you can call them a motherfucker, you can call them whatever you like, right? Because that's an opinion. I think, are
I
we
don't
getting
dis-
stuff confused with defamation and what is a person's opinion? Because defamation has to be a claim about someone,
okay.
right?
I agree, but I put in another I put
Damn,
in another
Discord.
part.
Discord is tripping.
Be sincere. I put in another part of it. Now it's not just the name, whether it's true or untrue. It's in the circumstances. Do you agree with that? So if it is in fact in a public forum that is taped, right? And yes, you may be exhibiting your opinion, but if your opinion changes the balance and causes this person to be shamed, right? Causes other type of harm, emotional harm, right? Then it depends. You
And
agree with that?
you're talking about outside of the workplace, because I can see where you're coming from if you're talking about work, right? If you're talking about the workplace setting, but just everyday communication with your friends or with, whoever. That's like if you call someone a hoe,
I'm not talking
you
about
know.
that. What I'm talking about is if you're doing it in a public place, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a
So
public
if you calling someone, let's just say, for example, if someone is on YouTube and they say they don't like so and so YouTube personality because they a hoe. Are you saying that that's a problem and it's outside of the bounds of their opinion?
it's the circumstances. So let me see if I can share my let me share my screen, for example, if I can. So I don't share my screen. Should have did it on ChatGPT because most people know ChatGPT, but I'll do it here. So um, I guess somebody has to. We pause this preview to. Can you see? Can you see what I put up? Can you see what I put up?
Yes.
Okay. So someone called me a coon and I want to sue for defamation. It's harmed me because it was done in a public place. And I want to say, can I sue? It is possible to sue for defamation if someone calls another person a slur, like coon in a public place. But success depends on several legal factors, particularly under New York. Calling someone a coon is an extremely offensive racial slur with a long demeaning history. But whether it rises to action depends on the context. It depends on the context. the nature of the statement, and how New York courts have treated similar cases, right? To prevail in this defamation suit, it has to be a false statement about an individual. Calling someone a coon is already problematic because it's derogatory. It was communicated to a third party, meaning it was in a tape session so people can watch it over and over again and make clips about it. The speaker was at least negligent in making this statement, right? Meaning that the other party has to show that they were not negligent, and the statement caused harm to the individual's reputation, unless it falls into defamation per se categories. So there are defamation per se categories, right? Which are statements accusing someone of a serious crime, statements harming a person's profession, imputing a loathsome disease, imputing unchastity on a woman. Now, this statement harming a person's profession, racial slurs, even highly offensive ones, generally do not fit in the categories by default, but the courts consider slurs like coon to be deeply hurtful, like slurs like Uncle Tom and coon. They may interpret them as expressions of opinion, not fact, a critical distinction since only false statements of fact or action voice disorder. Public insults and emotional distress. If the language used goes beyond insult and harms on individuals' mental health or safety, there may be potential claims for intentional infliction, right? So while publicly being called a coon is reprehensible and may cause immense harm, New York defamation laws makes it difficult to win a lawsuit based solely on this insult, unless it can be shown to be a statement of fact that injures reputation, opinion, or epithet. So that is the problem. If I can show harm, that
It told you everything I already told you, bro. I'm just saying, Reggie. I just said
No,
all of
no.
that to you. I actually did. I told you that, like, you can't, like, they just told you right there that just because somebody called you a coon or a Sambo or Uncle Tom does not necessarily mean that you're going to win a defamation case. Why?
And
Because you have to show
and I got a
harm. A person
question.
can base their opinion if they want to. Go ahead.
Right. And then I have a question. If someone is stating their opinion, how do you prove in court that someone isn't someone else's opinion? So how would you even prove in court that the person is not a coon or Uncle Tom? What would you have to do to prove that? Just like saying if someone is ugly, how
Right.
would you, if the person feels that way, that's their opinion, how could you prove that that's not true?
Okay, so let me put this up again because I just want to check. I just want to check that you understand that you understand what I showed you to read. Okay, so let's put this up again. And unfortunately, it says, right, it is possible to sue for defamation if someone calls another person a slur like coon in a public place. So it is possible. But success depends on several legal factors, particularly under New York law. Calling someone a coon is extremely offensive racial slur with a long and demeaning history. But whether it rises to actionable defamation depends on the context. So what I said now, the context is harm. The context is harm is where was the statement made? How was it made? If it was made in a public place, right, that it could be communicated to a third party, right? And that the person, for example, did not specify exactly why they're calling me a coon, right? And it caused harm to reputation. The statement caused harm to my individual's reputation, right? Unless it falls into defamation per se. So the fact is that the word carries a long history of problems within this society, right? So if you want to call them a name, I would prefer you call them a name that doesn't have a long history in this society. Now, the thing about it, did it cause the person harm? Well, now it depends in the context. So now if you are in a particular place and a person is speaking and talking about the man's indiscretions You're talking about the man's you or yourself trying to harm this person. Otherwise, you would just stick to the issues of what he's not been doing. But once you engage in just name calling to be harmful, then it can become actionable. So the issue is whether or not now, after the person pleads this, right? Pleads, makes a complaint about it, right? You have now the unfortunate responsibility of defending yourself, and it's going to cost you money because you're going to have to answer the complaint.
Not if I win. If you lose, you're accountable for that money.
Hear what I
You have to
said.
pay those costs incurred.
Hey, you
Now
didn't
I
hear
heard
what
what
I
you
said.
said. I heard exactly what you said. I did what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But it's not if I call somebody a Sambo. I'm saying if I call somebody a Sambo, okay, at that point, like that individual who decides to go and try to sue me
Yeah.
has to prove that it hurt them in some way, shape, or form. That's number one, which will already fail. Because like I said, that's an extremely tall mountain to climb when you're trying to prove that a insult actually did bodily harm or caused financial misfortune or anything like that, truly harmful. Which it will be an uphill battle for you to prove that.
I'm actually trying to. Here's the thing: is I'm actually trying to help, right? But I'm trying to help because what I'm trying to say is that it'd be better for you to deal with what the person did rather than to use a label. If you just dealt with what the person did or didn't do, right? And all those type of things, it would be better than calling them a derogatory name, right?
But not
That's
really though. But not really, because if I address what they did and I get it wrong, like if I say, "Hey man, you was I heard about you," you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, matter of fact, with Vernon Jones, okay, he's a piece of shit, and a lot of people, I mean, he had a lot of different cases or whatever, whatnot that was brought up on him for messing with women on the workplace in the workplace and shit or whatever, right? So if I just randomly said something about that and was like, "Hey, you know what I mean? You a piece of shit because you was in there messing with them girls in your workplace." Now that will be something that could be held as defamation. Reason being is because it will be something that if he can prove never happened, then it's a false situation. It's me lying on him.
well,
Me calling him a Sambo or a coon just speaks to him in reference. It doesn't necessarily say that he did an action or he didn't do an action. If I go into saying what actions he did or didn't do, that's more so of a case against me of defamation than me calling him an insult.
Well, I would just can you there's no way that you want to take my advice, but I think some people are listening to me. It'd be better
I
for you.
respect you, bro. I respect you, brother Reggie. Don't take it as disrespect,
No, I'm
man. I'm
not.
just, you know what I mean.
I'm just saying there would be better practice going forward to specifically deal without calling him names what this person did and why this person should not be in office. Because if some people have throwaway money. So if I have throwaway money, like $100,000 or some throwaway money, I'll put you in court just to put you in court. Because I got
Yeah, that
throwaway
would be
money,
crazy.
and I'll match your money, and hopefully you can match my money.
Oh yeah,
So
that would be crazy. I wouldn't approach it that way per se, because in a lot of situations, like you don't know what that other person's situation is. So in some cases, like myself, like I'm not rich, you know what I'm saying? I don't have throwaway money as you would say. But at the same time, I know people that don't mind stepping in order to, make sure that I'm straight when it comes to legal action.
Right.
So if a
So
person would want to go that route, then that would be on them to spend all that money and throw it out the window just because that person is going to have to pay those
okay,
legal
well,
fees once they lose.
so what I'm trying to say is that watch this. There's hundreds of thousands of cases where Black people have been disenfranchised in America, and for the most part, we have lost most of those cases. Why? Because our adversaries, right, have more money to spend. Right, the first thing that they're going to do is get a lawyer. They're going to get a great lawyer, and then it's going to go into litigation. Lots of times in litigation, what happens is the merit of the case goes away and people win on technicalities. So the underlying issue goes away. But but many people could just beat you on technicalities. So it doesn't have to be evidentiary. It could be in a sense that your pleadings are not plausible. So a lot of cases that our people have went through with in the system, we have lost to not the underlying issues of discrimination or theft of house or mortgage fraud or any of those things. We lost based on we lost based on the on technical issues with our pleadings, right? How can I say in for example in things like early dismissal phase or depending on the jurisdiction or summary judgment, right? Because they have handsome motions and your motion is not so handsome and they may have influence in society with the courts, right? So and so the group of people who have put this person in that you're calling a name, obviously he's an elected official, so he has a constituency that's already spent money to get him in there to do what they want him to do. So most likely, and those probably people probably have some influence with the courts, the clerks, and things like that, right? And I'm just trying to say is you could be dead right in calling him what you think you're going to call him, but be very careful about the American system of law. We've lost almost all of our cases, and we lost pitifully the last reparations case. We lost pitifully for all the technicality. It was thrown out because the plaintiff she couldn't attach herself to the victims of the banks that financed our ancestors. She didn't plead any of her particular ancestors that were caught up in this. She did what you call a just a general ancestry. These are my people, and the judge threw that out. In your particular case, what I'm just trying to say is, if you're doing it privately, he's walking down the street and you call him a name, that's fine. You'll probably get away with that. That's your opinion. But if you go up inside a public place where there's a hearing and stuff like that, people could say that you disturbed the hearing, or you disturbed and so I'm saying that listen, we're just talking general about law. I see that you're strong on you being permissible on this, but I would say use better language. I would say use better language, more concise language. Right. That's all I'm saying.
And I appreciate that input, but I'm gonna keep calling them. I'm gonna keep calling them Sambos and Coons. I'm sorry. I'm a mute now. Go ahead, brother.
And guess what? You can't keep calling them Sambos and Coon without anything happening. You can draw a reference to Hustler Magazine versus Jerry Falwell. That's a case that reinforced freedom of speech. In that case, Hustler Magazine published an article indicating that at that time, one of the biggest televangelists in the world, Jerry Falwell, was a motherfucker. He called him a motherfucker, right? And he implied it. There's a movie based on it, People versus Larry Flynn. It's the same thing, but it's a Supreme Court case for First Amendment speech, Hustler Magazine versus Falwell. Go and read it up and you realize that if I call you a coon, you just have to live with it. You just have to live with it. Thank you to Hustler Magazine. Nothing you can do. The Supreme Court reinforced that. That's the case in law.
But here's the thing. what I'm saying, Stu Peace, and thanks for bringing up the case. What's that? It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Is that correct? Is
Yes,
that
it did.
correct? Okay.
Yes, it did.
So that case was, if you put a monetary value on that case, how much did that case cost? $1 million, $2 million?
At that time, yeah, it's supposed to cost a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay. So ultimately, what happens in law is that what happens is the case gets more expensive as it goes from place to place. So from district court to appellate court, right? And then doing all the things that you have to do to get it certified. So that means both parties at some point paid a whole lot of money. Is that correct? In litigation, did both parties pay a whole lot of money in litigation?
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about that is that because it has been, what's the word is now? It's already been decided. No lawyer is going to take it up. They're going to tell you that, listen, you live with this because this has already been decided in the
But I'm
past.
saying the litigants that were in the matter, it took a lot of money and a lot of time. Is that true?
Yes, but it's settled. It's settled case law that no, that is settled case law. So most people don't even bother to sue unless you're going to talk about their health. You're going to say that they have herpes, like in the case of Carly B versus what's the other girl on the internet, Tasha K. The reason why Carly B won that case is because she made a claim that Carly B had herpes. No, that was
Right. One of
introduced
the
as
problems.
you mentioned earlier, right?
Yes, sir.
But
Good.
for me, if I just called you something that you can't prove that you are not, or you can't prove that you are, it is what it is. As long as that has nothing to do with your health, I can't just say Michael Smith have AIDS. No, that is a
You have
problem.
to, and I don't disagree, but what I'm just trying to say, what I'm saying, it goes in once a person sues, then it goes into the litigation mode. So then there's cost, right? And I'm just you could prevent, you can accomplish what you want without putting yourself in risk for a court, right?
Oh,
And
I
litigation.
understand what you're saying.
Okay, that's
I
all.
understand what
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. So, well, this is a great show because we get a chance to talk about, and I've provided everything that everyone asked me about my point. Whether you agree with me or not, uh, um, I unfortunately I had to go to federal court and state court, and I know enough about the process that I sometimes help other people for different reasons, right? So the case that I'm currently working with, I've gotten rid of 4 lawyers, and I am working on getting rid of the last lawyer, the who did summary judgment without a notice of issue, closing discovery, not allowing the person I'm working with to uh, dispute material facts. And so, if I can help him win his defense against summary judgment, right? Then the other side is going to be precluded from offering up any other summary judgments because it's been repetitive unless there's no new information. And the funny thing about it is that if you look at the court schedule, right? If you look at the court schedule, there's probably been about 20 appearances. So someone is both parties have to pay. And the side of the person who made the defamation, well, they probably paid maybe about all together with the 5 lawyers, they probably in all appearances, they probably paid about $80,000-$90,000. So I'm just trying to say is that in some cases it just helps if you can accomplish your goals without calling a person something derogatory. Call them another name. but not something that's a known derogatory term like coon and what do you call it? What's the other word? Coon and Uncle Tom.
Sambo.
And,
That's my favorite.
oh my goodness. Well, okay. I would ask the listen. Look. My whole thing is those are deep, painful words, and the problem is that you are using them for pain, right?
Not really,
Reggie,
not really. I'm just using it as a description. I'm not necessarily using it for pain because I don't think they hurt by me calling them a Sambo. I'm using it as
No,
a description in order to describe the things that individual is doing negatively to
okay, so
black
can
people.
you at least take this advice? Can you say before you call them a coon, Sambo, and Uncle Tom? Can you just use these? Can you use these few words in front of it? In my opinion, damn coon, Tom, right? So it's not an issue of fact. Can you at least get that from Brother
Hate it
Reggie?
as a fact. I will say, Brother Reggie, that I will make sure in the future, because I think I already do, but I'll make sure that I'm not calling the wrong person a Sambo or a coon.
Well,
I will take your advice, Reggie. But Reggie, I'm so sorry that I wasn't here to hear you talk about meritocracy. Did you address the whole issue of meritocracy and what your opinion is on it? Did you address that issue?
Yes, I did. Meritocracy is a system, organization, society in which people are chosen, promoted, or assigned roles based on their demonstrated abilities, talents, and achievements rather than their social class. So that's the accomplishment of a organization, society, or system. What problem is that our problem is on social media that doesn't matter because that's not a organization of social. That's just entertainment, right? In our governments, right? Uh, it, the safety net for that, right, is town hall meetings, right? So there where we can address that in town hall meetings. And the other thing is that we can put in something called a referendum, meaning that if we're in our governments, local governments, that there's a number of citizens that could vote to get your ass out of office before your term. That would be a major deterrent to to a lot of this.
No,
So
no, all right. Probably I said the wrong word. It's like merit based. I was talking more like a merit base that people get jobs based on their merit, they're based on their qualification, based on how proficient they are.
yeah.
Does that apply in the black community?
No, because black people, black communities, well, it does when we have good local governments in place at times, right? So, but in the ones that doesn't work is because we don't have any other structures like referendums and or town hall meetings, right? So it just so once a person is in and they like for example Eric Adams in New York City, right? Once he's in, right, it's hard to get him out, right? Except for what's happening to him right now, right? It's hard. We tried the legal road. Well, there was a legal road where he got indicted, but the president of the United States stepped in and made the Justice Department. Otherwise, it would have went away. But this is a very unusual thing. But now the Democratic Party, he's no longer in it. He's still a Democrat, but now he can't run as a Democrat, right? So he's running as independent, right? So, but when he was in office, he hired uh, this guy Banks, and ultimately two of his brothers benefited, right, from him. And then his girlfriend was who he ended up marrying was part of it, and a lot of other type of people. So it couldn't stop. And then there's lawyers and all these other groups of people that prevented it from being stopped. And the government, the federal government stepped in and indicted his ass. And it was stopped by the president of the United States. Huh?
So you believe that his job was merit based? That he achieved his success because of his qualification?
No, well, when he first got elected, he had what any person who was mayor of New York, he had qualifications. He was a police
Right.
officer, right? He had qualifications, but in office, right? What happened in office wasn't merit based.
So how do you think that merit based would be? Do you believe that merit based are people promoting merit? I can't say the word. People promoting that approach. Do you think it's beneficial to us as black people?
Yeah, I think that that's this is why Stu Peace, we don't have a plan. We don't know how these structures work, right? And so we don't have any controls, like a town hall meeting or a press, right? A press that does these that examines these things, and that Eric Adams was not working for black people or our people. He was working for the former mayor, Bloomberg, right? So because Bloomberg seems to have a lot of influence, a lot of products and things like that the mayor's office and stuff that the city of New York uses, and Bloomberg gave him a lot of support. But all of that is over because looks like he's going to be beat by by man, and a lot of people don't know. A woman did run on a ballot, black woman, very close to me, right? She ran. I helped her get on a ballot, but she was blocked by this system. So if you so I would yeah, so I don't want to say it because it's on the internet. It's no plus or minus, but someone that was very close to me ran for mayor of this term, blocked by this nepotism, uh, uh, choosing. They actually tried to choose Cuomo. So black people in New York lost terribly. We got so much mud on our face because our elected leaders, church leaders, chose Cuomo to be mayor, and he lost to Mandami. Could you believe it? Black people became sharecroppers for Cuomo, and Cuomo lost. He lost. So okay, so I'll stop. Well, I hope I hope this was helpful. You can I'm just giving you some suggestions, but when we were I think that we covered meritocracy, and we cover some things I think about law, and but we don't have a plan. So once we have a plan, then we plan to fail. We don't have a plan. We don't know.
Hold on, Reggie. Stick around, Reggie. We about to they about to debate what's the boy name from Jamaica? Garvey. They about to
I know it's
debate.
So I'm gonna watch it. So is it gonna be on this Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. So thanks for your time, Chef. Chef, I give you a hard time because Okay, so let me get off the phone. Let me get off the thing. But you're always, once you come in, Chef, you're the leader. You are the leader of this podcast. And then once you say something to kind of knock me, I got everybody against me, so I got to go hard against you.
Well, I ain't seeing you live in a minute. What you doing?
Chef, today's show was a good show. Can't lie. Good show.
I'm out. Peace.
And I kept me cool.
I enjoyed the show today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good one. We still waiting for Brass to get in the house when he get his notes together. Because if Brass end up letting Garvey off the hook, if Haskell somehow wrestle Garvey back into the good graces of black folks, I'm gonna be highly upset. You know how long we had to hear this nonsense about Garvey? It took us over 100 years to run this scammer down.
We'll see. We'll see. Today is a good day. We're not having this.
Hey, did y'all see that? I think they said like 6 HBCUs had a shutdown today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that.
What happened?
They getting
Fear.
threats. They not just
Who's
fear, but
threatening
they got actual threats from people calling in, and they don't know who they're anonymous, but people calling in saying they're gonna do stuff or whatever the case may be, because of what happened to homeboy.
What the hell HBCU?
Come on now, Chef. You know how this works, bro. Come on now.
Man got killed in Utah on a white campus. Now you want to target HBC? So we can't win for losing, yo. Even when we ain't got nothing to do with this shit, we the problem. That's fucked up.
Hey, somebody got to pay, bro.
Yeah. No, when people tell you that words don't have power, we see. That's why when people tell you that words don't mean anything, then you're free to say anything. No. It has impact. So ask Kelly ready, right?
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about getting information from a whole bunch of different sources, but the gentleman whose article I'm going to be reading from, he got everything is in there. Like he covered every base. And the debate is pretty much going to be relegated to the trial, because when people say Garvey is a scammer, that's where they get it from. His conviction for mail fraud. So I don't know if possibly Brass is going to introduce. I told him I want to keep it to that, but if he wants to introduce something else, some other scamming, he's free to do so. But as far as him never buying ships, that's a lie. What else? I think that's like the main thing. Him sending advertisements while knowing that he didn't have ships and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of information that I feel like a lot of people have never heard. I know Chef has never heard it, and I'm intrigued to hear what people got to say like after everything has been laid out.
Know about that. Don Rig Dog.
FBA versus the road boys.
Versus the tether class. The tethers versus FBA.
Yes. The tether guys.
The Tether Coalition.
Hey, you know what's funny? What's funny, Chef? You was talking about Joe Lewis yesterday, and you was saying like how the Jim Crow era, how unfair it was, like the court system and everything. I'm like, it just dawned on me. I'm like, how do people miss that with Garvey? Like, it's literally dead smack in the middle of Jim Crow. You know what I'm saying? And he not from here.
Yeah, but that don't mean, but that don't mean niggas don't commit crime just because it's Jim Crow either. You feel me? Like racism and shit exists nowadays, and just because I acknowledge that don't mean that niggas ain't out here on bullshit too. Two things could be true.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Hey, I
That's a
know
fact.
Garvey is one of the Jamaican national heroes. Is he on any of their currency?
Yeah, he's on the what is it? Stoopy, is it 20?
I don't remember, but we was on several currencies because as the
Yeah.
currency devalued, they put him on new currency.
Yeah,
But
because when I was still living in Jamaica, he used to be on the 20-cent coin, was it? Or the 20-cent coin? He used to be on one of the coins, but like Stoopy said, our currency has devalued so much the last 30 or so years. I know they don't have a 20-cent coin anymore. But he's definitely on currency, Miss Sincere, yes.
Mhm.
That's
Hey,
what's
what
up.
happened to whatever happened to the Tubmans though? Whatever happened with that?
Man, Trump ain't giving us no Tubman. Y'all believe that? Ain't giving us no Tubman. Yeah, crazy.
Hey,
Dr. King should be on something.
that'd be some raw shit to say though, bro. Like, hey dog, let me get a tub, nigga. The Tubman, nigga.
T-Tubs. That be T-Tubs. That be T-Tubs. Yeah, man, no, I think Frederick Douglass or Martin Luther King should make currency in the United States first.
Before Tubman?
Why you think that?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cause he's a
They were more
misogynist.
impactful.
He's a misogynist, Miss Sincere. That's why.
No, I ain't. I think they was more impactful. You know what I mean?
What?
Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King, yeah, they were more impactful than Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman was actually helping people escape, and she had a wonderful career as a unprofessional nurse, but she worked as a nurse during the war. You don't think that that's something to speak
Admirable.
of?
No, she's admirable, definitely a hero. I ain't take, you know what I mean? Definitely, I would never argue against her. I'm arguing in favor of more accomplished African Americans. That's what I'm doing. But I'm not saying she ain't the shit. She definitely the shit. You know what I mean? I definitely rock with her. You Tubman all day.
What do you think, or how would you think Frederick Douglass would feel about that? If you had
I
to
think
look back.
Frederick Douglass would agree with me.
What?
I think Frederick Douglass would agree that he, you know, is a little bit more than Harriet Tubman. You know what I mean? And I think most people would agree with that also. You know what I mean?
I think that's
You
recency
think
bias. I think it's recency bias
what?
is what it is.
They all contemporaries.
No,
Harriet
I'm
Tubman
saying
and
for
Frederick
you.
Douglass, they contemporaries.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. I think because they're closer to our time, you tend to, because
Harriet Tubman, no, they weren't.
yeah. What's the name is Martin Luther King is way closer to our time than Harriet Tubman.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's why I said Frederick Douglass or Martin Luther King should have a better claim to U.S. currency first. But you know what I mean? Because they will only be the second people that's non-president. You dig what I'm saying? And everybody definitely know
Who the
Martin Luther
first?
King.
Who the
I
first
think
that ain't?
Franklin. Is
Oh
it
yeah, that's
Franklin?
right. Yeah, it is Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is Franklin.
Yeah. So if you're gonna argue for a non-president, you know what I mean? I think Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass represented Black people presidentially. You dig what I'm saying? They was our representatives. So what would be the closest to a president for African American? It would be Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King.
What about
Y'all
Shirley
disagree?
Chisholm? What about Shirley Chisholm?
She Jamaican.
Is she?
I mean, why would we? Yeah, you ain't know that?
Nah, I knew I was trolling.
What about Arthur Ashe?
Who?
Arthur
The
Ashe.
tennis player?
Yeah.
The tennis player? Are you tripping?
Yeah.
How the hell would we put a gay tennis
Y'all
player?
playing around too much.
Right. You tripping.
You can't be
Wait,
saying
who
no
you
Arthur
saying?
Ashe over Harriet Tubman.
Oh, he said Arthur Ashe.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. No,
Wow.
I definitely think, I don't see how we could put Harriet Tubman over Frederick
Frederick
Douglass
Douglass.
or Martin. Yeah, like that's diabolical.
So I
Like,
think it's
how do
because
black men?
so because Frederick Douglass had that seminal court case, and I mean, as far as I know, I've never took a deep dive into Frederick Douglass. Pause. Um, but I think because he had that seminal court case, is like, is that pretty much what it's based on, Chef? Or because like, what else?
He was the consensus black leader during slavery and Reconstruction. He was the consensus black leader. He was the one that pushed for black people even fighting, for the Union. He pushed for that. He pushed Lincoln, to do that. He's an ex-slave. You dig what I'm saying? He went and argued for our rights in Constitution Hall. He also went all the way over to England, and presented, our case in England, as a runaway slave. I mean, the shit that Frederick Douglass did, like, shit
Yeah.
is
To be
amazing. He did
fair,
all of this as a
to be fair to
fugitive slave.
what time did Frederick Douglass live in again? It was post slavery for
He lived.
sure, right?
He did all of this during slavery.
Like, what time
You get
period he
that?
lived?
He lived in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah, he made these arguments during the height of slavery.
And when was Tubman?
60. Tubman they was contemporaries.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah, they was contemporaries.
I think like certain doors that he could have went through, I think a woman at that time, they wasn't gonna let her. You know what I'm saying? Certain leadership positions and stuff like that.
I agree with that. You know what I mean? But just the sheer impact. She didn't do what he did. So even if she was capable of doing what he did, she didn't do it. So we got to give credit to the person who actually did it. You feel me? Like,
But Tubman more G though. Tubman more G. I'm with Miss Sincere, man. I don't care.
how is she more G than Frederick Douglass?
What she mean? She busts her gun.
Man, Frederick Douglass whooped this slave master ass and left. And was on the
Harriet Tubman went back and forth, literally freeing people.
Yeah, he got up out of there and said peace.
Yeah, she went back and forth. And how can you, I like both of them. And where I live here in upstate New York, Frederick Douglass, his grave is here. He has a gravesite here. And then also, I believe in DC, he spent a lot of time here with his children and wife, one of his wives. And then Harriet Tubman, her estate is like 20 minutes from me, and it is beautiful. A local church, has the upkeep and all that stuff. And it's just marvelous to see. If you guys are ever in upstate New York, you can go check it out. Both of their old homes and stuff.
Nice. The hell Brass at, man?
Yes, didn't Frederick Douglass that's married to a white woman?
Lose points for that.
His second wife, I believe.
Yeah, it was his second wife. Either way,
Yeah.
it's treason.
You know it. Lose points for that.
Miss Sincere, he trying to help your case, Miss Sincere. You supposed to be riding. Like, hell yeah. He betrayed us, Miss Sincere.
Lose points for that. Different time argue that one. Lose a lot of points.
Wasn't he? Was Frederick Douglass? He was biracial, right?
Right.
So
Lose
he was
points.
biracial, so you can't hold that against him. You know, he's mixed, so he can go either way.
No. Lose points for that also.
Yeah, he lose points for that too. Miss Sincere, we trying to help you. What's
No.
going on? We trying to help you.
Well, you know, I like both of them, but you know, Harriet, you know, she's a woman. I gotta rock with Harriet, you know, and she was a gun-toting woman, so I really
Yeah,
gotta rock
she
with her.
told guns. We got to get her on there first.
Yeah,
And
and you know, obviously, you know, whoever is in charge of the currency and stuff around here already had ideas for her to be first. So that's the end of that. So,
it's
but
over with,
Frederick
Chef.
Douglass, you know, he's not a he don't lose points. You don't lose points as a black man if you're with a white woman if you're biracial, in my opinion, because you can go either way. You can pick a white woman or a black woman. Especially, you know, if you're no, you can't hold that against them. If you're biracial, you can go either way you choose.
No, it was bunny hopping. No bunny hopping around here. That's the only true sentiment Omar ever made. No bunny hopping. John Johnson should be the greatest boxer ever. Because when he fought, but he lose points, so gallivanted all those white women, lose points for that.
You know what's crazy? Like so many of our luminaries got with white women. Sertima, Joe.
Right.
Arabella
Who
Fonte
else?
lose points for that.
Arabella. Well, Belafonte is like biracial too. So I agree with Miss Sincere as far as that go. Like black people kill me with that. Like the women be getting mad at Chris Brown because he don't like dark skinned women. But I'm like, Chris Brown, damn near. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably like 40% like non-African. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them women like him because of the features that are non-black. They be swooning, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how you gonna get mad when he got the same value system as you? Like
The reason why Chris Brown is because the light skinned women them love him more than anything else than the white women them.
Nah, they all love him. The blacks, the darks, shit, they all love that motherfucker. Shit.
Yeah. But Cindy Poitier lose points too.
Who else married white women, Miss Sincere? I can't think. So we got Joe, we got Van Sertima, we got Frederick Douglass, we got Belafonte,
Cindy Poitier.
Sidney Poitier. Well, I'm talking about like scholars and
no, but he was Cindy Poitier.
Cindy
Poitier is an activist. He's one of the biggest activists ever. Civil rights activists. Some lose points.
What up? What up?
What's happening?
What's going on? I'll be in the crib in 2 minutes. If you still up for it.
Of course, man. I'm waiting to lay hands,
Yeah,
man.
I think y'all done killed the crowd. Crowd is done, but we can still do this
Nah,
live.
it wasn't us. It wasn't us. I know who it was, but I'm not gonna say no names.
It went from 40 to it's like 3 people watching.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no names as to who I believe killed the audience, but I think everybody knows what I'm alluding to.
Would you say it was a good conversation? Would you say it was a good conversation?
No.
Like, ain't nobody keep it going. I heard Logic. I was listening to a little bit of the playback.
No,
I
no,
heard
no, no. Listen. It had nothing to do with us, Brass. There's a particular gentleman who usually when he comes through, you know what I'm saying, he tends to take the wind out, the oxygen out the room. It's a light-skinned gentleman, and he's nearing.
Yeah. I know what you're getting at, bro. I got you, my brother. I got you. I know where you're going with.
That if you're light skin, you lose points too.
Paper bag test. You got to do the paper bag
but
test.
seriously though, I heard 30 to 40 minutes of discussion about potentially suing based on somebody calling you a slur or a derogatory name.
And that was disproven already.
Was a defamation of character angle?
No.
Yeah.
Because defamation of character involves a definite claim that is injurious to the person making the claim.
I didn't know he was
saying,
talking about it first.
I'm not getting involved with this. I've been going the whole time. I've been out of trouble. I'm sure y'all done pissed off a bunch of people. But it ain't got nothing to do with
a bitch.
So what is the then when I came into the conversation pause earlier, Haskell, it was like prophetic timing. As soon as I got into the conversation, I heard Coon and Sambo.
Yeah, that's what he was
I
talking
just
about.
left. As soon as I heard it, I just left. Like, I don't
Brad, they did an hour and a half on whether if someone calling you a coon should be something you could litigate for. Like a whole hour to an hour and a half.
My God.
Reggie was saying that? It's the shoot.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I would have rather watched fucking grass grow and paint dry. Lord have fucking mercy. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey,
did he say anything else about it? Did he say it was like what was his thoughts on people using it? Did he say it was like cool or not? Or not cool, but you think it's something that should be used?
He said that it's in the best interest to not use it because the litigation is going to cost you money. He was saying it, and then I brought in the conversation, Hustler versus Jimmy Farrell that passed that Supreme Court case. I brought that up to let him know that listen, you can't call anybody anything as long as you know parameters. You can't let them have something that they don't have, like health related. But you can't call them all kind of.
No, but I mean just black people calling each other that name, just the I don't want to say more. Yeah, I guess I would say morally wrong.
Yeah, he's saying outside of the litigation parts too. Like he addressed that part.
It's just not a word we should be using towards each other, even if we feel that way. In my opinion.
To me, the N word. I hate the N word. I hate it. Yes, God, I hate it. I hate it.
So Brass.
Yeah.
Because I know that our oppressors used it, so I get why it's objectionable for you. But what word then would you substitute it with for people who display that behavior? Bootleg.
Not like us. When the revolution is televised, everybody can't go. Terms like that.
No, we need a word, Brass.
I know I can't boil it down. I'm trying to boil it down to a
how
word.
About bootleg? Will bootleg work?
Ooh, that's tough. That's right around the corner.
Oh my God.
That's literally right around the corner. It ain't on the same street, but it's definitely bootlickers around the corner.
I can show you. I can show you a case that I just worked on, where the defendant called a Jewish man a nigger, and the defendant's lawyers tried to dismiss the case because they said it was just hyperbole. And I could show you the same case that I worked on, that the dismissal was denied, and the case goes on. So the plaintiff who was called the nigger, this case is still going on. right? And I'm still working on behalf of to help him. So I can show that case.
What was the
So
contention that it wasn't a case, Brother Reggie? First off, what's up, bro? I wasn't here this entire time.
Brad, how you doing?
How you doing,
So,
boss?
so the issue is that there's a group of people in the chat that believe that you can call these people derogatory names like Coon, Uncle Tom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just their speech and hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on where it's called. If you call this person that derogatory name, you already survived the first latch because it's derogatory. It has a long history. So I, as a non-lawyer, advise them to say, in my opinion, you are such and such, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a statement of fact. Okay, so then a court decided based on this person calling this person a nigger in a public environment, the defendants who were defending their position, they lost their dismissal. And it's a public record. I could show it to you.
So what was the dispute? Was somebody saying you were wrong, or why would you have to show this?
He gave a case, and I respect him because at least he did the work. The other people that was arguing with me, they were arguing without any cases, but Stu Pease, his credit, brought up a case. However, in New York law, it depends on the jurisdiction. It depends on how this was done. So you use a derogatory term to harm a person and harm a person's reputation, then there is a cause of action to sue. Now, it doesn't mean that you will prevail. But the person, defendant will be dragged into court because they were served, right? And the average law fees are $450 an hour, right? And most people who call people names like that, they couldn't survive. They couldn't survive the legal. They don't have the money. $450 an hour, right? So it's better not to use conclusory terms, but just say, don't call a name, or certainly not a name with a long history like Coon and Uncle Tom, right? Say so you could dispute, in your opinion, what the issues are. But if you say that into your defense that, oh, he cheated on his wife, you're going to ultimately have to prove that. It may be true, but you're going to have to prove that. So the litigation costs are enormous for both parties, right? So it's better not to, it's a good practice not to use these words. And so I tell people, YouTubers and stuff like that, if you have a YouTube channel and you're an influencer and you talk, you say something nasty about Brother Reggie, it's untrue, right? To get clicks in your monetized or whatever, to get clicks and influence, then I can sue you. And I know.
So you mean I could sue somebody for calling me a coon and a Sambo?
You could. You actually.
The likelihood of you prevailing is like infinitesimally improbable. Like,
And that's the point right there.
No, I could. Then I'm gonna have to shut y'all up because you're freaking irritated to me. You're saying that it's infinitesimal. Show me a court case. I'll show you a court case.
I know he's about to go.
No, show me a court case. Like you're just talking. Show me a court case. I'll show you a court case right now.
Is that Sister Safa?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Sister Safa, hey, do me a favor. Shoot me your address real quick. I gotta send you this subpoena.
I didn't call you no coon, and if I did, listen, I believe in freedom of speech, and unless you can prove that it's hurting your bottom line, unless you can prove it's hurting your bottom line,
It's hurting my bottom line. My kids, Sister Safa, my kids, you hurt my kids' feelings.
Come on.
My kids watch these shows.
Come on, I don't think so.
No, you don't believe me? It don't work. Okay.
No.
I'll get you next time. I know.
Get the show on the road, man.
No, finish talking to
All-
Reggie.
all
I'm ready, but
respect.
just finish talking to Reggie. Don't try to side skirt that
All
smoke with Reggie.
respect.
Hey, yo, Brass, I'm on like 4%. I sent you something.
Hey,
Okay.
thanks, Logic. But with all due respect, Miss Sincere, you that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I got you. Show me a case where it won't survive. I'll show you a case where it did survive. A case that I worked on.
Brother Reggie, I don't want no problems with you. Okay. I'm just saying that I agree with what Brother Haskell just said, is that you winning the case is probably less likely. Or yes, it's not going to happen. I think it's less likely. So I want you to show me some cases where somebody was called a coon, ugly, fat, anything like that, and they won. And not in the workplace. I'm talking about just in everyday life. Even when it comes to a politician, we have the right to talk about politicians. We have that right.
Well, let's meet the first prong, right? I can show you a case where the defendant tried to dismiss a case and the case continues. Right? At the end of the day, I say a lot of these cases, it's usually settled or resolved without dealing with the underlying issue, right? Through technicalities and settlement. But can you show me a case? I can show you a case where it survives, where the person thought, just like you all thought, they could get some lawyers and defend themselves, and they lost, and the case continues.
And my point is, are you saying that the case is not about money? Because I already agree that if you're in the workplace, if it's something that's going to hurt your bottom line, and you can prove that someone else's opinion of you hurt your bottom line or hurt your chances at getting a job someplace or something like that, I agree with that. But if you're just talking about, I think it was the brother who said that he was calling his local politician or somebody, some sort of Sambo or something like that. How? Where's that gonna be successful in court?
Okay, so let me explain. So wait, first of all, you have looked at cases dealing with this matter? You have, right?
No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a nurse.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer. I do paralegal work on the side for cases that I can afford to do. So I can show you a case where I worked on. I can show you a case where I worked on.
And maybe can you show some statistics on people who
Whoever's talking, your microphone sound. Whoever that is talking, your microphone sound bad.
Okay, so Miss Sincere. Okay, so you're trying to I can go and find case laws, not certainly in my jurisdiction in New York, but before I do that, you have to show me something.
Reggie,
remember,
Reggie, can you show me? Can Reggie, brother Reggie, can you pull up some statistics that and show us what's the likelihood or the percentage of people who sue because someone had a negative opinion of them and they won?
Miss Sincere,
None.
Miss Sincere. Wait, Miss Sincere.
You're arguing against settled case, and I gave you the Supreme Court case. Thurgood Marshall was on the court at that time, and if Thurgood Marshall said, "Listen," the question was, does the First Amendment freedom of speech protection extend to the making of patently offensive statements about public figures relating to perhaps in their suffering emotional distress? And the answer is yes. In a unanimous opinion, the court held that public figures such as Jerry Falwell may recover for the intentional infliction of emotional distress without showing that offending publication contained at least a false statement of fact, which was made with actual malice. That is the problem with all of these cases. I can call you anything, but you can't prove that I made it with actual malice.
right?
Yeah,
The court
Reggie,
added that the interest of protecting freedom of speech under the First Amendment surpassed the state's interest in protecting public figure. So you see that Brass is now a public figure because he's online. If I call Brass a coon, a butt liquor, a boot, every kind of thing, you just
We
have to
get the
eat
point,
it.
CP. We get the point.
Right.
Yeah, so
You just
here's
have to
the
eat
thing that
it.
Reggie
It's the
keeps
second
reverting
case.
back to, right? He's pointing to cases where, they were settled out of court.
Vitas Michael
Now,
speaking.
yeah, from what I could, mute out Stoopies. From what I've heard, there is no case where a petitioner, took it all the way through and was awarded a judgment, unless I'm wrong. Everything that I heard from Reggie is where it never got to that point. It was settled. Am I wrong about that, Reggie? Or
Yeah, well,
Well, he
see,
said he got a case. He waiting on
here's the
y'all to
thing.
show him the case,
There's
ain't it?
reasons
Is that what we
why
got?
cases. Okay, first of all, a lawyer usually costs anywhere between $350 to $450 an hour, right? At some point, as the case goes along, it gets very, very expensive for both parties. Usually, the defendant will try to settle, right? Will try to settle because he's the defendant or she's the defendant. They're the person who called the person a name, right? And so at the end of the day, right? Most cases get settled because of the increased. Because if it's appealed, then you're going to have to start all over paying, and if it goes to to a higher court, so it becomes very expensive. So now, it depends on the circumstances. Now, if a person can say that they're a public figure, right? And if the person could show that they're a public figure, right? Then I understand what Stu Peace is saying, but that's on a federal level. Cities and states have their own jurisdictions. So it depends on the content. It depends on the jurisdiction of the success.
all right. So to be clear, Reggie, as to the question that I asked you, the answer is no, from what I'm hearing. Now, to the point that you made, we have millions of defamation cases that have been filed, right? Or thousands or whatever. I'm kind of, so we have plenty of defamation cases that have been filed, and I would venture to say most of them never make it to the judgment portion. Probably most of them either got dismissed or they were settled, right? But even so, I would also venture to bet that there's likely hundreds or thousands of defamation cases that did reach the judgment state phase and were awarded. So my question still stands. Has there been one case, just one, in U.S. case law where a petitioner was awarded a judgment by a court for someone calling them a name? I don't want you to expound. You expounded earlier. You can expound, but give me a yes or no first, then you can expound. Has that ever happened?
Yeah. What the proper thing is to do is to look it up. So give me a check.
Yo, just say no, bro.
Why
Oh,
should
that's
I?
C-Dot. What's up, C-Dot? I ain't know C-Dot was in here.
What's going on, fam?
What's
I'm
going
just
on,
saying,
G?
Reggie, you gotta just concede sometime, brother. You ain't always right. You know what I mean? And it ain't even that you wrong. It's just the fact that in the situation that we're talking about, it doesn't happen. Like you even read it, like even with New York case law, you read New York case law, and they said that it's highly unlikely that you will win a case based on defamation for calling you a name. You read that. We all sat here and listened to you read it, brother.
So so now it comes down to, all right. So so it depends. It certainly depends on the circumstances. But I'll give you some case. Right, one of the highest profile cases is the Donald Trump case. Right, E. Jean Carroll. She was awarded $65 million in punitive damages after a jury found that Trump repeatedly defamed her by publicly denying the sexual assault and attacking her credibility, calling her names. Alex Jones and Sandy Hook families. Jones went on and he had to pay $1 billion for defending families of Sandy Hook. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Depp was awarded $10 million in compensatory and punitive damages after a Virginia jury found that Heard's Washington Post article defamed him by implying that he was an abuser. Right? Other noteworthy jury cases: police officer defamation versus Smith. Jury awarded $200,000 in compensatory damage to a plaintiff falsely accused of drug activity by a police officer. Right? So those are some high-profile cases. Now we can narrow it down, right?
Those are all
Now wait a minute. Now that Trump case, you got to go back to that, because that Trump case, was he found guilty in that Trump case? Okay, so if he was found guilty, he disobeyed the judge's orders, pretty much, that told him to stop going around saying that this lady is lying when you were found guilty. So that's a little bit different, Brother Reggie.
You're saying that,
and calling somebody a name.
No, sister.
That's different.
No, sister. He
Then we about to go live about garbage, y'all.
Yeah, we got to get on with this, bro.
Say it again, Brother Reggie.
I'm sorry to interfere, but see, everything that you asked me to give you, I give you. Y'all haven't given me nothing.
Brother Reggie, can you repeat what you said? Can you repeat what you said about Trump?
To close it up.
E. Jean Carroll versus Donald Trump. Carroll was awarded $83.3 million in compensatory damages and $65 million in punitive damage after a jury found that Trump repeatedly defamed her by publicly denying her sexual assault allegations and attacking her credibility.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Based on a
he was
lie.
denying,
It's not based on calling her a
he was
name.
denying what was already proven. So he was lying on her.
No,
so
it
that's
didn't say
different.
that. No,
yes, it did.
It didn't say that, sister. It said that
wasn't she awarded? She was awarded money, right? Based on what he did to her. He then was turning around, and wasn't the judge telling him to stop saying that she's lying on you when it's already been proven, or she's already been awarded something? Isn't that what happened? And the judge told him every time you tell a lie, he's going to smack more money on it. That's different from calling somebody a name.
No, he was calling her names by attacking her credibility, by calling her names.
Yeah, but that's a different situation. When he's calling her a name, what he's doing is lying. That's like if somebody robs me and they get they get convicted, and then they're still going around telling people that they didn't rob me, even though they was convicted and had to do time.
And you people are acting like Trump. You people are continuously denying something that's already true. I already gave you the cases, and then you continuously say that it can't happen, right? So you're continuously.
Because can you agree that that's different? That case that you're talking about is
different.
Okay. Well, we can get back to this on another show. Why don't y'all lawyer up? Get some cases. Because everything that you asked me for, I gave it to you, and you just didn't give your opinion. Some cases. All right.
You know, the sad part about that is most people that talk about this, I promise y'all would be, if y'all needed a lawyer, y'all niggas would be on Yelp or motherfucking Amy's list looking for lawyers. If y'all, everybody talks about lawyer shit. If you know how much it costs to keep a lawyer on retainer, you never would have even had the fucking conversation. Trust me. If you in real estate or you in mortgages, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
That shit is a number, nigga. And I've used a lawyer one time in probably 20 years. And I swear to you, I've been paying for that shit the whole fucking time. But it's just the security of knowing that is there. But you wouldn't, I promise you, y'all wouldn't pay that cost, bro. Lawyer on retainer ain't no bullshit. That shit is tough.
Well, that's the thing about. Well, you're right. But at the end of the day, if you lose the case, typically the losing party pays the lawyer fees. So, like, I don't understand why that's even being brought up in this situation, though. Because, like I said, instead of Brother Reggie just saying, like, you're right, you can't be, you know what I mean? You can't be considered defaming an individual just because of the fact that you called them a name. is based on a lie. Like everything that he just named, all of the cases that he just talked about were all based on somebody telling a lie on the other person, not based on them just simply calling them a name.
You call a person a nigga, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's
Is that subjective?
Pastor, give
Is
me a
that,
short premise so I can make this title, bro.
That's subjective, right?
Just put it in the general chat.
I
promise and using it in the case, you're using it in the sense of a corporation calling somebody an N-word or whatever. But regular people on the street calling somebody else a N-word is not like you can't file charges for somebody for that, bro. It's personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, Brad.
Okay, I got you.
Cardi B lost. Cardi B beat her case on. Tasha K lost her case on Cardi B.
For lying, because she lied on Cardi B and said Cardi B had a disease. That was a lie.
Thing? That was a real. I always thought.
Yes.
That was I didn't know that was.
That was
real.
the only reason she got that is because she lied on Cardi B. She didn't win because she called her a name. She won because she lied on Cardi B.
When you call somebody a coon or something like this, that's derogatory. It's a label. You are already you're already in trouble.
But you're gonna lose that case though. That's all I'm trying to tell you is that it's highly unlikely that you'll win a case based on somebody calling you a name.
Remember when Bill called Trump the son of an orangutan, said that his mother had sex with an orangutan? He won that case. He won that case. That Trump looked like an orange orangutan because his mother had sex with an orangutan. So he's the son of an orangutan. And Trump sued him.
That pastor was sued? That pastor? You talking about the pastor?
Not the pastor, the one who real time with Bill on HBO. He called
Bill
Trump.
Maher. That's Bill Maher. Yeah, Bill Maher.
He said Trump mother had sex with an orangutan. And Trump is the son of an orangutan.
Hey, come here, son. I want you to tell Sister Safa to stop calling your father a coon, or we gonna sue her ass. Hey, Stu Peas, they done called me a coon to Sambo so much I don't even know my name on these online streets, bro. I be having to look at my thumbnail and make sure I ain't misspell brass.
Why they calling you that though, Brad? Like,
man, it's like a fucking the other day, right? We was talking about I don't want to hijack y'all conversation. I'll tell you another time. You'll be there. Listen, I gotta get this conversation with Garvey going with Haskell. I'm about to get. Hey, listen. The reason why I'm setting all of this up is because I'm literally about to be called a cool for the next 2 or 3 hours in this conversation with Haskell.
Yo, what's your argument with Haskell on Garvey?
Haskell was telling me that Marcus Garvey. I don't know. I keep telling him to get a premise, but I think
put it in there. It's in there, bro.
Pause, my nigga. Pause, my nigga.
Listen. Yeah, I want to hear the contention with Garvey. What are we talking about with Garvey?
Yeah, I know you. Hey, listen, I'm about to be a coon, bro. Just trust me.
Oh, so you the negative on the argument.
You see what I put in
his premise? Okay, so Haskell's premise is Garvey wasn't a scammer because there was never any intent to defraud anyone. That's his premise.
Oh, he won.
Okay. Just get your coon button out. Hey, get your coon button. Like that.
I ain't gonna call you no coon, but you definitely gonna have to have a strong case.
That was easy. You ever see that Staples button on the commercial? That was easy. This just try. Look at the chat. This gonna be. Woo. This gonna be rough for me.
Y'all doing it now?
As soon as y'all done talking, I'm gonna bring down this stream, and then we're gonna start that next stream.
Oh shit! All right.
And I'm rocking with Haskell.
I know you are.
What?
Hey, listen. Hey, G. Been around for a little bit. You're gonna call me a cool in about 30 minutes. That's right.
No, I never called you a coon anyway.
Yeah, but you celebrate the people that do.
Man, come on, Brass. Come on,
Brass. Now you got to stop.
Yeah. No, I know, but at least you calling me.
You
Brass,
have to stop this.
For now, you
Mr.
calling me Brass for now.
You have to stop this.
Mr. Brass. Okay, I can deal with that.
I can deal with that. From the moon who left
and it's funny. Haskell laughing, but he know I'm telling the truth. Maybe not you, But Haskell has been in here with these conversations. Lord Jesus.
That's not even a term I like to use. I prefer
I
Uncle
don't
Ruckus.
think any black, Uncle Ruckus. That's no, that's what you call me. Write that down. No, this is still recorded.
Damn.
Hey,
No,
Reggie,
wait a minute. I didn't say I called you that. Hold on. I called you that. I said coon is not my language that I use. If I'm dealing with a Negro that I don't rock with and I think he is cooning, I don't say cooning. I call him an Uncle Ruckus. That's just.
I think it's the same thing, bro. I think it's worse. Have you seen what Uncle Ruckus look like? That motherfucker look crazy.
Well, it's not about what he looked like. It's about what he acts like. It's not about what he looks like. It's about what he acts like.
I'm still somewhat young. I'm concerned about how people say I look. Uncle Ruckus look crazy as hell.
It's about that vitiligo, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I don't know who created the Bulldogs, but that Negro vitiligo bit is hilarious. Oh my
Aaron Magruder. Aaron Magruder is a fucking
he's
genius. He's a fucking genius. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to hear this debate because this is gonna be a good one. Like I said, I already got Haskell for this one because it should be easy for him to prove this one. I don't even want to throw nothing out there, but this should be easy for Haskell.
So C-Dot.
Yes, sir.
You think Garvey wasn't a scammer?
Not in the slightest bit. Garvey wasn't a scammer in the slightest bit. And if bro got all his information together, he'll be able to outline everything for you to show that Garvey had absolutely no intention on scamming black people.
Okay, for sure. Hey,
you know what's funny, C-Dot? You do the same thing. I have this argument with my brothers a lot. Because my brother, he's like he just loves Garvey. And the word intention always has to come out on y'all side of the argument.
Definitely. Because that's what you have to show in order to say somebody's a scammer. You have to show that they intentionally are trying to, you know what I'm saying, like misguide the people.
Not just once, in multiple cases.
Oh, this gonna be good. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. I don't want to get no gems out, but man, I can't wait because if you don't do it, Haskell, I'm gonna have to come and
I already get you right. They're about to try to jump. I already know what's going on, bro. I'm seeing.
I ain't jumping you. I ain't even gonna give them no info.
Hey, Steve, we got a thing in the Discord where motherfuckers doing interest music. As soon as they see somebody struggling, you can hear if you smell with the rock, it's cooking. That motherfucker gonna come running down the motherfucking Discord chat, click unmute, and all y'all gonna be trying to kick my ass. I already know how this goes.
Nah.
I need to
I'm gonna take this as just a debate. I don't think it's your personal opinion. So we're gonna go with that.
Yeah. Remember, Brad, for the intent of the debate, right? You can go outside of the purview of the whole the trial thing, but that's mainly because to my knowledge, that's the only thing. When people say Garvey is a scammer, it's tied back to his conviction for mail fraud. But if you have something outside that scope, you can introduce it. I'm intrigued to hear it.
Yeah,
but that's going to be my argument is going to be centered completely around,
and that's
that.
fine. And I'll bring up my points, but I will only. And then on top of that, I think this will be good information too, because most of the people that have this conversation, about 10 minutes into the conversation, they begin to threaten each other's lives. So for me and you, it'll be more of a. I'm gonna be talking to the crowd also. You know what I mean?
Right.
More informational, that people can get some things maybe they didn't know.
We more gentlemanly and gentlemen and scholars.
Yeah,
so we ain't
bro. I
gonna
don't
do
know
all
why people
that.
say that about, bro. I've seen you. I don't know if you've done a 180, but I swear to you, either you went to the doctor and they said cut that shit out because your blood pressure or something, but you try your hardest to have an up and up conversation. Most of the times when you argue or get into an argument, you get pulled into one. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfucker try to cut you off. They want to see that side of you. Like Mike Tyson, how motherfuckers used to pick with him out in the street and shit just to get him to fight or whatever. So I give you that.
Hey, I got to say too, I've seen growth in C-Dot as well. C-Dot, bro.
I haven't known him long. I haven't known C-Dot long enough. I gotta
Just
dose down a little bit. I gotta
just
dose down a little bit. Like, I don't know his past angry history.
well,
we
just
still get the dose.
you might have missed a few episodes in the Discord there, because my only interaction is right here in the Discord. I'm just saying, when he first came in, it didn't take much. You know what I'm saying? But now, like
Right.
he like, yeah. Today he
Right.
was really patient, man. He was, and boy, I kept telling fucking Tony, like, leave that man alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came off
Right.
mute a few times, like, leave that
Tony
nigga
was cool. I'm
alone.
bringing down the
But
stream
it's
now.
because
Y'all stay if y'all want to watch the Garvey. What's the name? But Tony was. There was a